Soumya ma'am, now am I audible? Yes,
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Yes, Soumya ma'am has mentioned that I'm not audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you're audible.
Now you're audible. Yes, ma'am. Now you're audible.
Yes, I think we shall start the session. Yes. Shall we start? Soumya ma'am,
Please,
now
ma'am.
am I audible? Good afternoon and welcome back. Yes,
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Recording in progress.
Yes. Soumya ma'am has mentioned that I'm not audible.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
feeling
Now you're
relaxed
audible.
and eagerly looking
Yes, ma'am. Now you're
forward for the
audible.
second session. Yes, I think the morning session has been very informative and beneficial to all the participants. Shall we start? Now, let us proceed to the second session. Ma'am,
Please,
now
ma'am.
I call upon Dr. Jerisha to proceed with the second session. And welcome back. Thank you.
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Recording in progress.
Thank you,
Soumya
Dr.
ma'am has mentioned that
The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job at hand, and the
Yes,
determination
ma'am.
that
Now
whether
you're
we
audible.
win
Now you're
or
audible.
lose,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have
Now you're
applied
audible.
the best of
Yes, I
ourselves to the
think
task
the
at
morning
hand.
session has been very
Once again, on behalf of Loyola
informative
College,
and
Chennai,
beneficial to all
and
the
BCom
participants.
Honors Department in
Now,
particular,
let
I
us
extend
proceed
a
to the
hearty
second session.
welcome to our
Please, ma'am.
moderator,
I
Dr.
call
Siddhi,
upon Dr. Jerisha
and the
to
panelists
proceed
for
with the
session
second
2,
session.
Mr.
Welcome back.
M.R.
Thank
Murli,
you.
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Recording in
Amanda,
progress.
Dr. K.R.
Soumya
Soumya,
has mentioned
Mr.
that
Ram. The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job at hand, and the determination
Yes, ma'am.
that
Now
whether
you're
we
audible.
win
Now you're
or
audible.
challenging,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have
Now you're
applied the
audible.
best of ourselves.
Open
Open the
the
doors
morning
that was
session has
unpaved
been
road.
very
Once again, on behalf of Loyola College, Chennai, and
all the
otherwise
participants.
Technology Department in
Now,
particular,
let
I
us
extend
proceed
a
to the
hearty
second
welcome
session.
to our
Please, ma'am.
modern
I
business,
call upon
medical
Dr.
industry,
Jerisha
and the
to
faculty
proceed
for
with the
session
second
4,
session.
Mr.
Welcome back.
M.R.
Thank
Murli,
you.
Yes, you are,
once
ma'am.
again. In the midst of every crisis lies great opportunities. Truly, COVID-19 crisis did provide us with sustainably significant opportunities that we explored through the medium of technology. Today, our panelists will provide you with deeper insights into the opportunities which were unveiled during the pandemic. Now, I call upon Ms. Reena, Assistant Professor, Department of BCom Honors, Loyola College, to kindly introduce the moderator and the panelists for today's second session to our beloved audience.
It's my honor to introduce our moderator and panel speakers for this session. Dr. Sudale Muthu, Professor and Head of Department of Banking Technology, Pondicherry Central University, will be your moderator for this session. Dr. Sudale Muthu is an eminent academician who has 28 years of teaching experience and 18 years of research experience. His area of specialization are accounting and finance and systems. So far, Dr. Sudale Muthu has produced more than 41 MPhil and 18 PhD scholars. He has completed 2 research projects funded by UGC and ICSSR and has 172 publications to his credit. Dr. S. Sudale Muthu has won the Best Teacher Award from Pondicherry University for 4 years. We are humbled to have you as a moderator for this session, sir. Welcome you, sir. Our first speaker for this session is Mr. Murali, joining us all the way from Dubai. Mr. Murali is an ambitious, self-driven, enthusiastic, highly successful leader and banking professional. Mr. Murali is the Senior Director and Team Head for the Global South Asian Business of Emirates, NBD Private Banking. He also worked in banks like HSBC and Standard Chartered Bank in various top positions. He has over 28 years of relevant experience in private banking, retail banking, wealth management, and cash management services. Implemented various globally assigned relationship management platforms with best-in-class strategic financial planning. I'm proud to say that he's an alumni. He graduated in commerce from Loyola College in the year 1992. He is also the current president of Loyola Alumni, United Arab Emirates chapter. With his proficiency in the field of banking, Mr. Murali will be enlightening us on the topic digital transformation in banking. Mr. Murali, we are delighted to have you with us. Welcome, sir. As a woman, I'm very happy to introduce our next speaker, alumni of our college, Ms. Salin Amanda Lewis, joining us with us from UAE. Ms. Amanda is a perfect blend of experience, knowledge, precision, and capability. With a dynamic marketing career, Ms. Amanda is known for managing significant leadership communication mandates for CEOs, startup entrepreneurs, authors, socialites, and politicians, including some of India and UAE's largest corporate groups, in areas of perception and reputation management, leadership branding, marketing, and communication. Ms. Amanda runs SAL Communication in the UAE. SAL is a strategy powerhouse providing comprehensive perception strategy, branding, and marketing solutions to individuals and institutions in the UAE and across the globe. She is also the co-founder of Persona Leaders, world's first horizontal leadership strategy firm that works on creating a new breed of leadership brands that exhibit the power of disruption across business and social political contexts. She is known for her high energy, hands-on approach, and deep client relationships. Ms. Silene Amanda Lewis, we are honored to have you as a speaker on the topic Marketing Post-COVID. Welcome, ma'am. Next on board is Dr. K.R. Soumya, joining us all the way from Ethiopia, a wonderful academician. Currently, she is working as a professor, business and economics, Kabri Dahar University, Ethiopia. Dr. Soumya has also worked at various reputed institutions like Rajalakshmi Engineering College, St. Peter's College of Engineering, and Satyabama University. Her area of specialization are human resource management, organizational behavior, and psychology. So far, Dr. Soumya has published in more than 50 national, international journals and 5 international books across countries. Dr. Soumya has received Outstanding Faculty in Management Award from Global Learners Academy of Management. With her expertise knowledge, she will be enlightening us on the topic Technology, a Factor Integrating Work and Life. Dr. Soumya, we are humbled to have you as a speaker. Welcome, ma'am. Our final speaker of the panel is Mr. Mohan Ram, joining us from Singapore. Mr. Mohan Ram is the Sales Director, Global Accounts, FSI, Fujifilm Business Innovation, Asia Pacific. Mr. Mohan is responsible for developing and implementing global account growth strategies for key FSI accounts of Fujifilm. As the primary interface to senior executive of clients, Mr. Mohan's charter is to provide access to innovation, thought leadership, and best practices created within Fujifilm Business Innovation. Mr. Mohan has over 20 years of extensive experience in consultative sales and strategic account management that span across strategic IT outsourcing, professional services, and technology solutions. Known for his high clientele engagement with his ability to lead and seamlessly navigate through highly complex strategic client pursuits, worked with Canon and Wipro before joining Fujifilm, a management graduate from Loyola and XIME, Mr. Mohan Ram will be enlightening us on the topic Artificial Intelligence in Business. We welcome you, sir. I'm sure everyone will be eagerly waiting to listen to this wonderful panel members enrich our knowledge. Without further delay, Dr. Sudale Muthu, sir, we hand over the session to you. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon to all of you, and good morning and good evening to rest of the world. At the outset, I take this opportunity to convey my sincere thanks to Loyola College for inviting me to moderate this panel number 2 in the virtual international conference in a novel title, Innovative Business Practices of E-Commerce in Contemporary World 4.0. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the organizer, especially the Department of Become Honors, for having chosen an appropriate, relevant, the need of our topic for conducting an virtual international conference. Since morning, I am observing all the inaugural function, starting with the inaugural function and other panel session. And here I am noticing all the panel members from that. So the organizer has to spend a lot of time to select and appropriate relevant speakers for all the sessions. So keeping in mind the changing environment in the world, and keeping in mind the creating the manpower that are required by the world. So to match the world requirements as well as to supply the manpower to that world, So appropriately, in order to inculcate all relevant input to the students and the research scholars, the organizer chosen a very good resource person. Here also, we have Mr. M.P. Murali, a senior director, a global South Asian business from Emirates. He is going to speak about digital transformation in banking, and followed by Salin Amada Lewis from UAE. Madam is going to speak about marketing post-COVID. Then followed by Dr. K.R. Soumya from Ethiopia, Aberdeen University. Madam is going to speak about technology, a factor integrating work and life. The last, our panel speaker, Mr. Mohan Kumar from Singapore, sir is going to speak about AI applications in business. A different innovative area that and all very much required for the students community today. If you see the title of the conference, Innovative Business Practices of E-commerce in Contemporary World 4.0. You know well about that. Over the period of time, the business world has faced a lot of changes. The changes and all inevitable. Everybody that we are familiar with the term, nothing is permanent except the changes. So changes is a part of the life. We have to accept the changes and adopt it accordingly. Then only each and everyone succeeded in their respective career. So here the changes in terms of business, we can quote industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Now that world is talking about the industry 5.0. Industry 1.0, that mechanization is the focus. That was the focus during that period. Then electrification, that is the application in the industry 2.0. Automation, along with the computerization, that was in industry 3.0. Then in between, you see 3.5 also, due to the globalization, 5 also that emerges. Then industry 4.0 is complete digitalization. So digitalization that brings lot of changes, the way in which that we are doing all our work, starting with the education, business, all our services, all other activities, that process and all completely now changed. Along with that, you see the pandemic, COVID-19 also bring lot of changes in the world. Now, as an example here, education and all now delivered through the virtual mode. This conference is one of the examples for that. Almost all the educational institutions, faculty members, teachers, that every one of us now we accepted the changes accordingly, we adopt it, and effectively without any that deviation we delivered to the students community to create that useful manpower that is required by the industry now. That is why we now call it as the education is 4.0. Here Dr. M.P. Murali is going to speak about digital transformation in banking. So banking also, that 1.0 to 4.0, there are different evaluation developments taken place. The Brad King mentioned a lot about the industry for bank 4.0. Now that in bank 5.0 also, that complete that artificial intelligence based application, the manual working along with that AI, that process also now emerging now for the banking is moving towards that bank 5.0. And accordingly, we have changed a lot of our lifestyles and we are balancing our life. We are integrating our life with that work environment in that working environment is completely in the digital mode, accordingly, we are accustomed to that. So that is going to be narrated by Dr. Soumya. And the marketing in terms of advertisement, in terms of distribution, in terms of logistics, in terms of brand building, and in terms of product delivering and all, and the financial transaction, everything is completely changed now. So now that we are in that part, the last part of COVID, according to the newspapers and the experts. So during that post-COVID period, how that marketing is going to play its role, that is going to be given by Madam Amanda. Then you see now future, we are going to work with the machine. That we are going to work with the artificial intelligence based robot. So that how that AI that is going to play a role in the business, how we are going to that use work along with the robots, that Mohan Ram is going to discuss about and deliver his information about this. 4 speakers are very, very experienced speakers, and they are all the stalwarts experts in their respective field. So these people are going to highlight about these 4 important areas. One is banking, and another one is integration of work and life in the digital environment, marketing, as well as artificial intelligence. These are all the ways in which this panel number 2 is going to be conducted now. And with that, a brief introduction, I think I am going to highlight, I'm going to mention about the time duration for each and every panel members. I request the panel members. The hierarchy of presentation is according to that organization already mentioned. According to that hierarchy, I request all the panel members to start your presentation. The time allotted to you is 15 to 18 minutes. And the last 2 minutes, you sum up your presentation. Within 20 minutes, you have to complete your presentation. Then after your presentation, that based on the input received from some of the participants and based on my own observation, I will put some questions. Then that I will request the next speaker to deliver. So this is the sequence that directed by the organizer, and accordingly, you are requested to do that. So I could able to find my good friend, Dr. Arul Suresh also here. We are all very good friends. I'm happy to notice his presence. Good evening to Professor Arul Suresh also.
Yes, thank you so much.
So see the things, this is very much important for adopting all the changes. If you adopt the changes according to that contemporary world, we'll get the success. That real examples also there. Here it is very much available. One is Mr. Arul Suresh, another one is myself. We started our career in a small private college. Now I am serving the Central University and heading the Department of Technology Management. So accordingly, over the period of time that I have adopted all the changes and implemented all the changes in the education, that bring a lot of success to me. So that is a message I want to convey to all the students, those who are here and those who are listening here. So this is the world of digitalization, and each and every field the digitalization is available. Start with the banking, that the first person, Dr. Murali, is going to do a present about digital transformation in banking sector. Now, with that small introduction, I hand over the sessions to Dr. Mohan. Sir, please you, take it and you try to complete according to the time schedule given by the organization. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much to all of you. I will come back after the completion of Mr. Mohan. Please, sir. Over to you, sir, please.
A very good afternoon. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, very much audible, sir. You are very much audible.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for the introduction and the brief what you had mentioned about. Once again, a very good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I know that people are watching this and it's getting recorded, as well as live session happening on the YouTube. Indeed, I feel on top of the world to be part of this privileged virtual gathering. Thank you very much once again. Respected Mr. Daniel Augustus, Reverend Father Thomas, Dr. Lima Rose, Mrs. Minoti, Mr. Mati, my esteemed faculty, the organizers, the participants, panelists, moderators, and my fellow alumni. Thank you very much for having me here in the innovative business practices of e-commerce in contemporary world 4.0. The topic what I've taken on is digital transformation and banking. If I may request Harish to start off the screen. Just before this, please. You can go one step backward, please. Thank you very much. I would like to keep this as simple as possible, and I'll try not to keep any jargons, and if at all, please bear with me. Let me start by quoting Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, who said, 2 years of digital transformation in 2 months. This was on the speed of change experience in his company, which sums up the accelerated pace of digital adoption. Having said that, digital transformation won't make traditional banking institutions go extinct. Okay, I'm very clear about it. You would relate by end of this session, my reasoning of this particular statement. Traditional banking will definitely be there and it will hold good. So coming to what is digital transformation and banking, what we're talking about. If I summarize in one word, it is to understand and fulfill customers' needs. It's an opportunity to reimagine financial services, making banks customer-centric, innovation-driven, and future-ready. It is rebuilding the operations, rebuilding relationships with customers, and rebuilding procedures. And my dear students, and I'm specifically talking to the students or looking out for opportunities in terms of seeing what it is, this is where you would play a very, very important role. And we'll come to it once we progress with this session by end of this particular session in terms of the opportunities. Now let's try to understand and take a peek into the bank. What is a bank? Whilst it might have very many verticals and very many departments, the core banking is predominantly into what is highlighted in the presentation now. You do have retail and wholesale banking. These are typically the day-to-day transactions as an individual, you and me tend to do, which comes under the retail ambit. Wholesale banking is to do with the businesses and corporates in terms of their transaction-led businesses. Investment banking is to do with whether it is mergers and acquisitions and your bond issuances and IPOs and new fund offers, etc. Wealth management is to do with what to do with the money that you're earning, the company is earning in terms of investments, whether it is equities or bonds or funds or structures and related investment revenues. Payments and cards is to do with how do we transfer funds, whether it is your NEFT, whether it is your RTGS, payment mechanism, SWIFT mechanism in the international market, cards. And we all know about the Visas and the Masters, whether it is the credit cards, the debit cards. You do have credit-related functionalities in terms of evaluating credit risk basis, which lending decisions are made, whether it is lending to retails like our personal loan, home loan, car loan, etc., or loan against credit cards. It also includes corporate loans and so on and so forth. Whilst this does not cover the entire banking ambit, this is the core of what a bank is all about. It was, it will, and continue the way it is in terms of the core. But having said that, I've been a banker since the last 20 years, and when I passed out of from my prestigious Loyola College in '92, and I joined one of the leading international banks in 1993 in Chennai, HSBC, I can name it. That's when I could see that the digital transformation had already started. I'm talking about almost around 3 decades back. But then what do I see then? And even now with some organizations, is there were extensive paperwork, laborious manual effort, which also brought in quite a lot of errors, and hence multiple makers and checkers and authorizers and validations and so on and so forth, error corrections. This has been time consuming, multiple audits, ledger management, again, prone to those records being held in the record storage units to be pilfered or destroyed or damaged and so on and so forth. And the list goes on. This is what the banking system then was, just predominantly paper driven. What are we, and how did the journey start off? And I talked about the digitalization journey, which started off almost around 30 odd plus years back. It did go with certain objectives in mind, and we'll go through that particular process one by one. Harish, if you can get on to the next screen, please. Thank you very much. I've defined this into three categories. One is optimizing the bank. That's how the journey started in my experience. They wanted to move away from paper-based to non-paper-based, system-based. And I still remember during my initial years when I was with HSBC and I was part of their electronic data processing department, you had this huge EKIM machines put into a room which was at like 14, 15, 16 degrees, because it looks like they needed that kind of a temperature. We were not allowed to walk in with our shoes. We had to be sanitizing ourselves before we get into it. The transaction happens over there in batches, and after that, it gets consolidated and uploaded into the central server. The next day morning, before the banks start working for customers, we used to do a lot of reconciliation basis certain reports. So this is in my mind when it started slowly getting into an automation. And initially, it was the core banking modernization. And this core banking modernization still continues, and they're trying to enhance it year on year with more sophistication and making it much more easier and convenient. Then came the back office modernization. And in the back office modernization, it was more to do with integrating, consolidating from a cost efficiency point of view, from an error reduction point of view, etc. And that is where, for example, you do have those processing call centers like Scope of Standard Chartered in Chennai. There were call centers for customer services that started coming into the picture. Collection centers, debt collection centers, and wealth management, outbound telecalling, inbound telecalling, etc. started happening in that particular space of back office modernization, and which still continues. Wealth management analytics started off slowly to understand what is the customer's behavior, basis which they were telemarketing or SMSs being sent to the client, emails being sent to the client, asking their requirements in terms of product selling or product marketing. Then came in improvisation and modernization on payments and card transformation. The current RTGS and NEFT, if you go back, it used to be to send the money to somebody else. It was a money order, and it used to take few days for the money to reach my parents. But today, at the touch of a button, the transactions and transfers are happening. So there was quite a lot of modernization that started off at that point of time. Harish, if you can just go on to the next click, please. Then the organizations in the banking sector started talking about customer convenience. That became the core. How do we make the convenience of the customer and it becomes much more easy and efficient for them? And that's when the banks started bringing in a lot of these alternative delivery channels. ATM machines were the first one to come in, where in 24/7, you're able to access your bank account to check your statement balance, withdraw money, deposit check, deposit cash, and so on and so forth. Then came the online banking to make your convenience as a customer much more easier and 24/7 again. And then it came to your fingertips in terms of your mobile banking technology. Then it started bringing tailor-made solution to the customer. The bank started doing certain propensity models to understand what is the behavior of a customer, what are the transactions that the customer is doing on his credit card, on his bank, basis which they were targeted marketing that was happening, wherein the customer is able to easily pick and choose to his or her liking. Customer convenience, fund transfer again. Today, at the touch of a button, you're able to transfer funds anywhere across the globe. These are all concentrating on customer convenience. Harry, can move on to the next slide, please. Thank you. I hope the audience is able to see the slide in one, because in my computer, I'm not able to see the customer-centric slide completely. Can you give me a confirmation on that? Yeah, it is better now.
Yes, sir, we can see that.
Thank you very much for that. Today, and when I talk about customer convenience, it was in the last 10, 15 years or so. But in the last 5, 6 years, the speed with which the digital transformation in banking has been going on is tremendous. And what is our theme at this point of time? As I had started to say, we are trying to identify what is the customer's needs. We're trying to do everything basis customer centricity. So that has become the theme basis which the entire gamut of modernization, which I talked as optimization, customer convenience, etc., is coming into. Physical bank has become kind of a museum. In the place where I am today in Dubai, especially after the COVID pandemic, many of the banks have reduced their branches by at least 20, 30% because there is no more footfall, because we have migrated many of these customers to alternative delivery channels, plus the digital aspect, which is on your fingertips or on the online banking, has kind of reduced the footfall that is coming into the bank. So physical banks have kind of become a past, or slowly becoming a past. Everything has become digital. It's becoming hyper personalized. And at the same time, the security aspect is also being considered in the sense of double security, OTPs, and so on and so forth, because cybersecurity again becomes very, very important. Because many of the people who are using these technologies in the banking field are common person. They need not be a technical expert. They need not be a software engineer or an IT engineer to understand what are the security threats. So it is important for the organization like a bank and financial institution to make those security aspects much more robust, and hence the double security feature and so on and so forth have been coming into the picture. AI and machine learning, it's a topic on its own, and I'm glad that somebody is going to be talking about that a little later today. And the bank is able to integrate the AI and the machine learning, the propensity model, what I'm talking about, the transaction what the customer has been doing. And to give you an example, in the wealth management space, used to be a time when you need to buy a share, it used to be in physical document, and later came something called a dematerialization, which became in digital format, and today you're able to buy and sell shares with the touch of a button. On top of it, the customers are being given so much amount of information about the markets and so on and so forth. And on top of it, the system is able to understand what are you looking at, what is your risk profile, which geography are you looking at in terms of an investment, which asset class, whether it is equities, bond, etc. Basis which the system is able to push you the required information, what you're looking at, giving comparative chart with similar products, of similar regions, of similar asset classes. And there's so much amount of data that is going around the world, which is helping this entire digital transformation journey to make the customer-centric experience much more convenient, and it caters to the customer's need. One thing, if you have not recognized or seen in this presentation, from the optimizing the bank to a customer convenient to a customer centric, it is only a half moon. There is still more scope to improve, to get into that full moon, and to optimize, to modernize, and to be innovative. And that is where, my dear students, you guys are going to be playing a very, very big role in this particular market. If you can request Harish to come to the next step in terms of the opportunities. And if you can just pull the screen up a bit, please. Thank you. Here, I'm not going to be getting into details in terms of the opportunities, what I have highlighted it here. Harish, the screen is still not compact. If we could get all the opportunities in one screen, please. Thank you. Before getting into these opportunities, one thing I wanted to reiterate to the audience here, and definitely to our students, is We need not be a tech geek. We need not be an engineer, a software engineer, or an IT specialist to be part of this digital transformation of banking. I've only highlighted few of these opportunities which we as arts and commerce graduates are able to add tremendous value. And to name a few, sorry about, Harish, I've been asking you again, can you just condense it, please? Because I'm not too sure whether the others are able to see the screen completely. I'm only talking about the opportunities, please. Whilst Harish is helping with us onto that,
no, sir, I think, sir, Mr. Murali, sir, I think in your system that you have to change your layout, then it will be all right. Here, everything is
no
correct.
problem.
Problem with your layout.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So I'm happy about it. Thank you very much for that. So when we talk about opportunities, it does not encompass what I've given in over here, but opportunities in terms of data analytics, financial crime, regulatory, cloud, digital marketing, business process, human resource, blockchain, and so on and so forth. It continues, the list continues. This is the opportunity as students, what we have in front of us, with which we are positioned to make the banks and the financial institution transform themselves. And again, I've highlighted over there, traditional banks is not going to end itself. It will still keep continuing. It will require bankers and professionals to support it. It will require core modernization, core banking modernization. It will require consistent delivery and consistent improvement of customer convenience, at keeping customers at the center. Customer is always right, and treating customers fairly. How do we bring this transformation into them? I would like to conclude and to summarize. And before that, what I would like to say is, the convergence of digital data and AI-driven automation have meant that banks can deliver personalized customer and employee experience at scale, at relatively low cost. Scalability is tremendous with this digital transformation. New technologies and capabilities have allowed banks the opportunity to reimagine organizational structures, talent management, and employee engagement, importantly. And those are, again, the spaces where you students, including us for that matter, are able to add value to this transformation. To summarize, traditionally, organization and operating models of banks have been built around products with sales and operations teams supporting them alongside functional areas such as finance, HR, IT, and marketing, etc. With digitalization, banks can rebuild operating models along customer journeys. And again, that's important, customer journeys. This new operating model is automation-led, with a digital workforce managing rule-based and basic cognitive tasks such as simple credit decisioning and basic reconciliation, some of the terminologies what we use. Employees can be upskilled to provide high-touch customer advice, design new digital capabilities, and manage exceptions which automation cannot handle. With that, I conclude my little presentation, and I hope it was helpful. And over to you, sir, if you have any questions.
Yes, sir. So Murali, sir, thank you very much for your very brief and excellent, nice presentation, sir. So you have highlighted how the transformation, the digital transformation that has all taken place in the banking industry in terms of optimizing the bank, customer convenient, customer centric. And in order to get into that kind of service providing digital bank, and what are the opportunities available for the young students, that you neatly, very correctly you highlighted everything. And one important point you have highlighted, especially the thing is, this arts and commerce students, they are also having a lot of opportunities to capitalize this, and there is no need for getting more computer related courses, that along with their arts degree, that acquiring some kind of skill in that specialized area, that would be sufficient to get into that or capture this opportunity. That is a very important point, that message you convey to the students. Excellent, sir. And here with your presentation, I can able to recall the Brett King book. Brett King written so many books. So the latest book is called Bank 4.0. In his book, he mentioned banking everywhere, never at a bank. So from all your transformation, that now the banking is going into that. Along with that, one more thing I want to quote, that the Bill Gates mentioned that banking is necessary, but banks are not. So that your transformation message, that message is I could be able to recall that. Very nice presentation, sir. And
thank you.
That you mentioned about in your presentation, one points regarding the fintech, along with the big data, blockchain technology, and all. And the fintechs now play a very important role in that banking and the financial sector, sir. And some experts says fintechs that facilitates the banking sector to perform operations. Somebody feel that fintech is going to give a lot of challenges to the banking, like that. Some others that express their views. What is your views, sir? Whether the fintech is the opportunity for the bank that to facilitate the banker to perform the operation, or fintech is going to be the challenge for the banks? What is your observation, sir?
So in my perspective, it's very clear. Everything is an opportunity. As in the morning also, when a gentleman was talking about the blockchain technology, whilst it was regarded as something which is alien or it was regarded as illegal, today we are talking about it being part of the tax structure. We are talking it part of to be a bread and butter, and it's a question of time that it is going to become in everybody's life. And hence, banks have also started adopting blockchain technology into every aspect what they have been talking about. And hence, same goes with the fintech also. I think we live with that, and it is important that it coexists and it supports the banking technology. And so it's never a threat, sir, in summary.
Yeah. So with that answer, you can quote one more answer also. That is that blockchain technology helps to prevent the lot of banking frauds. In such a mechanism is available in the blockchain technology. So the distributed storage ledger, and that helps to prevent the bank fraud, cyber fraud. That also one of the biggest advantages of adopting or implementing the blockchain technology in the banking. Sir, that now that my last question, then I move to next panel speaker. One of the important challenges that cyber fraud, the banking fraud. So how to that in your experience? So how to overcome that such type of frauds?
So there are two aspects of it. One is the bank is working for the customer.
Yes.
Now you can't expect all the customers to be savvy, and that is a wrong expectation. And hence, it's for the bank to ensure that they make their security systems pretty robust. And from that perspective, I think banks have always been conscious, because I've been part of one of the digital transformation wherein we brought in a tablet banking few years back. And as a tablet banking with an e-signatures, with data getting into the tablet going elsewhere, there are quite a lot of transactional fraud that can happen. But I think information security, network security, cloud security services, web security, security architecture. So banks are making and investing quite a lot of money in over there. And that is where I think we bring in those expertise from the IT field. However, they will not be in a position to answer or find solution without the help of core bankers who understands the process end to end. And that's why, again, come back to the students, the core banking will never die. We need to be there as arts and commerce graduates to be in over there. We understand end-to-end solution, and we are the enablers to make those IT experts to bring in those security solutions to make it very robust and customer friendly, at the same time safeguard the interest of the customer. I hope I answered the question.
Very nice answers. Thank you very much, sir. And now that I'm going to request the next panel speaker, Madam Salen Amanda.
Good afternoon.
Madam,
good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon. So, madam already having a lot of practical experience in the field of marketing. And as I already mentioned in the beginning in my brief, now you see that the business process bring lot of changes, not only in terms of distributing and delivering the goods and services, but in terms of marketing, especially in the process of brand building, customer relationship management, advertisement. And now we are not able to see that medical representative. Earlier, that medical representative used to physically visit that doctors and distribute the samples. Now everything that are taking place only through the digital. So like that, there are a lot of changes and all taken place in the area of marketing. So especially this COVID that bring lot of changes in the way in which the marketing activities and all perform the operation. So now with that experience, I requested Dr. Salen Amanda madam to highlight about marketing in that post-pandemic period. Over to Madam Amanda. Please, madam.
Thank you, sir. And a very good day to all of you participating in this webinar. The previous sessions have been really enlightening, and I'd like to thank all the organizers, especially Dr. Lima and her team, for choosing such a novel topic that is really the need of the hour to be discussed, because all of us are getting dependent and encapsulated inside the digital walls of innovation and integration. So it requires us to adapt ourselves to survive this transformation by understanding the impact, the influence that technology has started to create in our day-to-day personal and professional lives. Well, the topic I will be presenting today is marketing after COVID. It almost seems like an era to me, like how we used to say BC and AD, it has become before COVID and after COVID. Well, we must admit that the pandemic has changed many things for us, both personally and professionally, for everyone. Business-wise, almost major industries suffered a huge hit, either at some point or the other, whether it was at the initial stages or the first wave or second wave or third wave. Even industries that we had once considered as recession or crisis-proof industry did hit rock bottom. And the marketing industry is no exception for it. It has been a huge, there was a huge gap for us to fill. And at the same time, we are one of the industries that sprung back in action along with many other industries. And the only reason being that we started accepting change, right? Because the consumers, the lifestyle of them changed, attitude of consumers changed, the experience changed, expectations of consumers changed, and marketing had to follow play. Well, our needs also changed, and so did the things we buy and the way we buy. Brands had no choice but to evolve themselves to impact this almost renewed kind of a customer behavior, who knew what they wanted, when they wanted, and if they even wanted it. So I'd like to highlight and explain a few trends that existed prior, but also evolved at a much higher pace after the pandemic, the most of which involves the impact of digitization and technological advances. For someone like me, who was always educated and made to believe that marketing was literally touching and impacting people's life, it was quite difficult to even think of how this industry is going to survive one of the major economic slowdowns. I'm not sure if you're aware, but be it any slowdown or recession, the first industry to get directly or indirectly hit is the marketing industry, because that's where companies cut their budgets on. Whenever there is a recession, then first companies would say, I don't think we need to spend so much on our marketing budgets, reduce the marketing budgets by half or by even three-fourths, and we would get very, very less spends. Because at that point in time, marketing was just kind of seen as a stepsister, right? Only when it was required, it was required. When income was not coming in, then they started cutting budgets. Because if the spends were 5x, everyone believed that the results have to be 15x, nothing less. So naturally, the mindset for most businesses was to cut off that spend when the income was literally zero. At least this was the case in the two of the major recessions that happened prior to COVID. But COVID was a very different ballgame. It kind of created a disruption in the marketing field. And the only reason behind this disruption was that it banked on the significance of technology. The impact of marketing skyrocketed literally when the integration itself, when it integrated itself with digitization. Well, I'm a very conventional person and I try my best to stick to conventional marketing practices, but I was surprised. I was surprised every time I saw an analytics report that my team presented to me after a campaign was run. The intricacy in the data, the accuracy in the information, the level of impact that a particular campaign created, and the presentation of that data, it just blowed my mind. And I'm sure if you see one of those data, it will blow your mind too. To such nitty-gritties, everything was presented and on your plate, right? And you can't help but believe how technology has transformed the conventional way of us ideating or analyzing customer feedbacks or campaign feedbacks. From customer reach to lead generation, today we have the technology to literally show our clients how a campaign has reached to even one minute particular village in a particular region. We have the accuracy to say how a person has viewed a campaign, for how long he has viewed a campaign, what has been the impact that it has created, whether whether that particular view has been converted into sale or no. So this is the amount of accuracy that digital transformation has brought into the marketing field. The whole journey today can be tracked, whether it is from product development or leave alone product development, even product ideation. Based on past information, you get to ideate how a product is being developed, marketing the whole product, branding the whole product, reaching it to the consumer, ensuring whether a customer has accepted the product or no, and what has been the influence on him. So the whole journey can be tracked today. And this is one reason that I or the industry cannot deny the significance of big data analytics in marketing. It has literally changed the way we have ideated campaigns, implemented campaigns, and presented campaigns. It has made indeed marketing very measurable. It made marketing very outcome-centric. What was earlier very qualitative has become more quantitative and competitive. There was a time when I recall back in my earlier days when we used to sit in the boardroom along with sales professionals, and then you all had to present our marketing strategy for a particular product. And the sales team used to kind of mock at us, saying that we were sitting within the four walls and ideating strategies without knowing what was happening at the ground. But today things have changed. And it was true then. So today we still sit within the four walls, but we have the data to support us of what has worked and what hasn't. Leave alone marketing strategies. Today, business strategies are built on the outcome of digitally integrated marketing campaigns. And this is because the industry has accepted the change and it has intertwined our approach to leverage the advances in technology. As I've indicated a little earlier, the pandemic has altered consumer behavior to a large extent. What they wanted changed. When they wanted changed. How they wanted it changed. So therefore, brands had no choice but to give them what they wanted, when they wanted, how they wanted. And of course, marketing had to play along. So I've kind of captured 6 major trends, part of my presentation, which I will highlight right now. The first trend is that marketing became very very more focused. It was focused earlier, but then the target segments were still large. I would target a community of age group 10 to 15 years, and then I would say just people living in urban areas earlier. But today, because of the power of big data and analytics, we've kind of tried to create more local and micro-segmented campaigns. So if a particular shop or a particular company is looking at one area or one locality within the whole city, it still could be done. If I was, say, for example, if I was a salon just servicing a few regions, a few areas in a city, I could specifically target my marketing only to those localities, and again micro-targeted to women, age group, 18 years to 40 years, etc. and etc. Same is the case with many product and service brands. So it became more targeted, more focused, more micro-focused, if I should say. The second trend is that the importance of information and content rose drastically. People or customers wanted to be in the know-how segment at any cost. So whatever kind of information they saw on any platform, they started absorbing it without even knowing what was right and what was wrong. So through data analytics, we got to see what kind of content people are interested in and suggest the brands to alter their content, alter their message to impact such kind of a group. We were able to get data, package the brand accordingly, to brand it to, we spoke about brand reach and brand awareness. We knew exactly what kind of information to reach to our customer target in order to make them aware about our brand, if it was direct marketing or indirect marketing. So, and we were also able to use this data for future content creation. So that was the second trend. And the third trend was that digital transformation accelerated literally overnight after COVID. And customers wanted a more digital experience to avoid contact. They didn't want to go out, or they were not allowed to go out. Hence, everything was made available on a platter through the acceleration of digital transformation. Hence, we started to use AI to reach. We started to use AI to serve, analyze, and customize solutions, which was earlier not the case. The fourth trend was that customers claimed personalization. So we had to combine the analytics data with intelligence that we have received to drive relevance in the industry, to build stronger human connections. We noticed that though people did not want contact, they longed for a human connection. And that's why all these home delivery systems, the e-commerce platform sprung up to a large extent at countries like UAE, where e-commerce was still not very well developed prior to COVID. Of course, in India, it is very much advanced, but contactless delivery. If now you order something on Zomato, you always have the option of contactless delivery. That was because people wanted a different approach in the way things are being served to them. They wanted a very customized approach, whether it was even making a product or whether something very personalized to them, whether it is gifting or whether it is even using a particular item. They wanted a very customized approach. So marketing had to service this customized consumer. They had to understand that, okay, after the pandemic, this is what the new consumer expects. And they had to alter content, they had to alter strategies, they had to alter the way things were being implemented after the pandemic. And the sixth one is, amidst all of this, we had to use machine learning to make more informed decisions and to even predict trends. Like as Sir was mentioning earlier, he said that today medical professionals are not going and visiting the doctors. Why? Because they have all the data with them. The computer or the system has all the data of the list of hospitals, the list of doctors who are there in a particular vicinity, what services are they offering, what kind of medicines they are currently using, what medicines they need to use, and accordingly the right medicines were reached to them. This was all happening because of machine learning. And today, customers expect a much more seamless digital transaction. Earlier, though digitization happened, it was kind of a pain for people to understand. The Gen X or the Gen Y was still finding it hard to adapt to these changes. But today, even Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z are able to adapt to the digital transformation because it's all at the press of a button. Earlier, it was still complicated. So it's more seamless today. And because of the seamless transaction, seamless requirement from the customer's end, products are being developed. And because products are being developed, the requirement for it to be marketed in a different manner has come rise. So in my terms, if I should say, agility is a modern marketing technique. And it is said that the best solutions come out of the worst problems. I think the pandemic has helped us recognize that agility can only help us survive in any industry, leave alone marketing. We must embrace the future, no matter how futuristic it may seem. Well, I would like to conclude by saying that while marketing focuses on specific outcomes, it should also ensure that the brand stands behind great values. Because as I told you, as the conventional person I am, I can't stop thinking on the other aspects that contribute to holistic marketing success. Because marketing is not just one field in itself. It must be viewed as a context to the full end-to-end journey. And wherever possible, marketing should also help connect the missing dots in a business strategy. It is not mere digital transformation that can drive results. It is digital transformation and backward integration that will matter in the future. In the end, you need the right balance of factors, including your tech stacks, to have modern marketing success. Thank you. And I'm open for any questions that you may have.
Good, madam. Excellent, madam. Very, very nice presentation. Excellent. So as a conventional person, you have made a very holistic presentation about the marketing during the post-pandemic period. Very nice, madam. And normally, minimum, madam, that 10 years required to incorporate all the changes in the marketing and all. But the pandemic helped the world to implement all the changes within 1.5 years, 2 years. So whenever the problem comes, whenever the risk arises, that forced us to adapt the changes. It is the best example for that. That much that the change has taken place in the last 1.5 years in the field of marketing. And you have highlighted the 6 important points related to the marketing during the post-pandemic period in terms of target marketing, in terms of identification of customer, in terms of customized solution, and in terms of personalized services, and the application of big data, as well as the ML, machine learning based, that artificial intelligence application. That and all very, very relevant for the student, those who wants to choose the marketing as their career in the future. Excellent presentation, man. And the seamless that the marketing activities that is now available everywhere because of the digitalization and the agility. That is a very important point. The students should take care of that. And you have to take a message is, these are all the things from your presentation. Very nice, madam. But one important thing, as a marketing executive, you practically experience in marketing. Now in the social media, as well as in the online digital platform, the customers, that feedback is collected through that social media. But the customer's feedback, madam, while collecting the customer feedback, there are possibilities for overflow of information as misguiding the information that leads to damage the product as well as the service providers. So how do we overcome this? Even we use the big data to analyze all the feedback that is collected from the social media regarding the product and services. But some targeted group purposefully, by giving the false data or misrepresenting the fact, that as a competitor, they used to damage it. So how to overcome this based on your experience you narrate this, please?
See, so what happens is when we receive customer feedback, initially the first few stages, we analyze data to see from what kind of customers, because on the online medium, there is a lot of spam happening. There's a lot of hacking happening due to security issues and stuff. So we try to address the loopholes in the first stages of any campaign being run. And then with AI, we are able to differentiate what is valid information and what is invalid information. And through that, we will respond. Of course, we need a combination. As I said, it's not only digital transformation. We need back-end integration as well. So customer handling people, customer relationship people should be there with every brand who are ready to service customer inquiries and address their feedbacks, give us the feedbacks, and make sure that the next campaigns that are being run or future products being developed addresses all these questions that's being raised by the customers.
Nice, madam. That is selection of appropriate tools to assess the feedback.
Yes.
To overcome this.
Yes.
Madam, regarding the brand, last question, regarding the branding, there are a lot of tools that are used by the marketing people to boost their brands. How do we select that appropriate tools to upgrade or boost the brand and create the brand setting in that mindset?
Okay. While we are in the process of choosing these tools, we normally follow this very famous 3M principle that we call. It's called the market, message, and media principle. Right? So the first M stands for market. When you create a product for a specific market. When the market is defined, then you need to create the message to reach that particular market. Right? So once the message is defined, you try to understand which medium or which media is this market viewing. Like you and I may be on social media. We may have a Facebook account, we may have an Instagram account, we may have a LinkedIn account. But the concentration of the time that you spend on each of these platforms are different. I may spend more time on Instagram and less time on Facebook. You may spend more time on LinkedIn and lesser time on Facebook. So every consumer's concentration on their availability of platform or their exposure to information is very different. So that's why I was saying when we're doing micro-targeting, we get to understand what kind of customers are present in what kind of platform for how long and what kind of information they are used to. So if I'm a product targeting a particular segment of customers, I clearly know that I'm reaching my product to customers who will be potentially interested in my product and not the rest of the world, right? I may reach it for brand reach or brand awareness purpose, but when my campaigns are focused on lead generation, then I target potential customers who will be probably in a day or in 1 year or 1 month time, they will convert because they are interested in products like that. So based on the market, based on the message, based on the media, you choose the right tools. There are many fake tools that come today, which are subscription models or something, but most of it are in the use of creating fake followers, in the use of creating fake likes, which will not lead the brand anywhere. If it's just a celebrity brand to just show off to the world that you have so much of followers, so much of views, then that's fine. But if a brand is looking at long-term sustainability, if the brand is looking at converting those valid customers into actual customers for the brand, then the conventional routes is what will work in the long term as well.
Excellent. Excellent. So actually, these are all the things we have to teach the present students instead of teaching the traditional concepts and all. So these are all the practical things we have to inculcate to the students. Excellent. Very nice, innovative information you have given. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the time and thank you for the opportunity.
Please
again.
wait that if any other questions comes, we'll let you know a little bit later after all the panel presenters. Now,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Now that I'm going to invite another academician, a professor from business and economics discipline from Kabrid Hague University, Ethiopia, Dr. K.R. Soumya. That while accepting or adopting or that transforming the technology and that integration of the work with the life is a challenging point for us, especially during this pandemic period. That digital transformation taken place very quickly and we are working from remote place, and we are delivering the services and availing the services. But that a lot of distractions we normally used to face, and the balancing is the difficult for us. Number one. Number two, in that there are two important things. One is the learning, relearning, unlearning, skilling and reskilling. And that some of the
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. मैं हूँ कृति और कैसे हैं आप सब? I hope you all are fine and doing great. तो आज की इस वीडियो में मैं आपको बताने वाली हूँ 10 ऐसी वेबसाइट्स और एप्स जिनसे आप अपने बच्चों के क्लोथ्स और एप्पल्स की शॉपिंग बहुत आसानी से कर सकते हैं। तो चलिए लेट्स स्टार्ट।
न्यू स्किल आल्सो वी हैव टू लर्न, देन ओनली वी हैव टू सर्वाइव इन दैट new transformed world, and we have to balance our life with that work. So in that angle, that integration, how it is taking place in that digitalized environment, in the innovative business environment and Industry 4.0, the integration of business work with the life, that balancing is very, very important. That area Professor Dr. Soumya is going to highlight. Over to Madam Soumya. Madam, please.
Thank you very much, sir, for the wonderful introduction about the topic as well as about me. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I thank the organizers for this wonderful opportunity. I thank Dr. Lima and the team for this wonderful opportunity provided in this panel discussion today. And I would really like to appreciate the organizers to have thought of this particular event in a virtual platform amidst this global pandemic. So now moving on to the topic. Yes, my topic is technology, a factor integrating work and life. The topic of the conference cannot be without being appreciated. Innovative business practices of e-commerce in contemporary world. When you say contemporary world, it is finished. Everything has come into it. So it's a definite point that the organizers need an appreciation in this aspect. So moving on to my topic, technology. Okay, so this technology, we could say it is digitalization. It would be apt if I say it is digitalization. It fosters creativity and innovation. But it not only links technology to human, first and foremost, it connects people. So that is the challenge over here, because work and life balance. This was the problem that we were talking for quite some years. But now there is nothing called as work and life balance. Before COVID-19 itself, work and life integration has happened. It is due to the advent of technology. Okay, so how this technology has actually taken this kind of advance over all of us. It provides newer and faster communication tools like instant messaging, video conferencing, real-time collaboration tools, etc. Now, what are we doing? We are doing virtual conferencing. This never stopped. It happened all the last 2 years when we were idle during this COVID-19, and which is nothing but the technology which is into it. So technology and the growth in technology is undeniable, and it is happening at a very, very, very unimaginable pace. The positive effects and negative effects of technology. Always in everything, in a management concept or in a general concept, there is positives as well as negatives for every appreciable thing in the industry. Likewise, for technology also, it does not escape its negatives and positives. Okay, it enhances learning, fosters problem-solving skills, develops technological leaders. It improves relationship and social skills. I have mentioned only a few, as our leaders here our experts here know this is just the minimum that I have mentioned, because technology has much more than what I have mentioned, and it is unimaginable. So it helps us to learn as quickly as possible, stay updated, and it enhances our problem solving skills, and it enables us to predict the future and move towards the future in a very, very advanced manner. It obviously helps us to keep the relationships in a very, very, we stay intact with the relationships at whatever levels we maintain it, either at personal levels, official levels, whatever it may be. And the social skills, due to the social media and the social exposure that we get through the technology. So these are the positive effects of technology. But it does not fail. It definitely has its negative effects too. So these are some of the things which I have just mentioned, where the academic concerns, social disconnect, work overload, digital media manipulation, job insecurity. So these are some of the negative effects of technology, which I have highlighted over here. So when we say technology, all of us are not in the even platform. We are not educated in technology in the same level. We vary in our knowledge level, and we are not continuously updated. Only people who are related directly to the technology are continuously updated. So when this happens, it's a complex issue. And they are suffering with data security, how to maintain the data in a secured manner, and how to care for the privacy aspects. Then, so all these things, so these are like digital media manipulation. We really don't know. Wherever we go, sometimes we get some messages which are irrelevant to us. We wonder who has taken our number, how we are getting messages like this. So it's all happening beyond us. So that it is all like actually manipulation of the data. So it gives a lot of insecurity for us, and job insecurity. For the failure of not being updated with technology, the people involved in technology have a feel of job insecurity always in their jobs. Next is coming to the topic actually, work-life balance. As I told you, now this is very, very, very preliminary now. For the human resource researchers I hear, they will not agree there is something called work-life balance nowadays. It has become work-life integration very much before. So now we are all working 24/7. It has become that way. So there is no point of work and life balance. It's work and life integration only. So it is the amount of prioritization you allocate between work, personal life, and family. A viable work-life balance urges you to distribute your time according to your priorities. So we look at this. We are people from various industries. We are men and women. We are married and unmarried. We have students here. We have everybody in this panel. But all of us know it is definitely not an easy thing to balance between these issues which are presented before us. We do not do justice to all the compartments as appropriately we need to do. What could be the reasons and what are the consequences? So benefits of work-life balance, if we say there is work-life balance, then it leads to an enhanced health and well-being. It increases productivity. When we say there's work and life balance, obviously we say that there is good health and well-being, but it does not happen. We fail in our health, but we always advise we have to take care of health and mental health and physical health, which leads to our well-being, but which is not possible due to the work and life integration that has taken over. There is no difference between work time and your family time. So there is nothing called as compartments anymore. Everything is muddled together. And COVID-19 has come in, and it has even more made the situation very miserable for everybody. So that is it. So, and women, especially women who are working at home these days, are having even double pressure during this COVID-19. In the last 2 years, they must have been having it because of their original family pressure, and as well as in addition to the extra professional pressure that we're having, and the continuous attention that they were giving to their children. So it was a great challenge. So all these things are actually affecting the health and the well-being. So, but if we are having a proper work-life balance, it will lead to better health and well-being. It will lead to increased productivity. It will lead to improved time management. See, there is nothing called as time, enough time, that we never finish it on time. There is nothing like that. And moreover, we Indians are always not Like we are known for our 11th hour preparation and we do it very wonderfully. So there is nothing called as time management. So let us not like just pressure over and run behind in times and targets actually. Okay, because that is where we fail to look after the life part of it. We only concentrate on the work part of it and we fail to look at the life part of it. And that leads to a lot of mismanagement of time and their own health and everything. So, but however, if there is proper work-life balance, then there will be improved time management. Then personal development. Obviously, if we are really able to do justice to work and life is equally, obviously we'll be having a very good personal development. Then we will have higher focus and engagement. Then there will be reduced absenteeism. See, a disturbed employee is always not regular to organization. So what is being this absent? Okay, it is something, it is not against leave actually. Leave means you get officially, you get permission and you take leave. Absenting is no show. You just like that, don't go to the organization. You stay away from the organization because you're not okay. So that's how it is. But when there is proper work-life balance, the absenteeism is reduced. It improves commitment and motivation. Obviously, we stay committed and we are continuously motivated. And it boosts employee loyalty. So these are the things which are the benefits of work-life balance. And if it is in an organization where if the organization has people who are able to contribute these things, then the organization is having the right set of people with proper work-life balance. But if not, then it's going to be a very big, disaster to the organization. Meaning, how many people will you send out? You have got to live with you have got to exploit the resources that is available. We cannot keep sending out people. We cannot keep spending on recruitment cost, training cost, etc. So you've got to retain people and you've got to put on with them. So that being the challenge, you have to put on with the resources. And if the resource is not a happy resource, it's going to reflect on your, it is going to reflect on your production. Ultimately, what do we want? We talk everything. We talk about job satisfaction, employee satisfaction, everything, welfare measures, everything. But ultimately, what does an organization want? They want production. There will be better productivity and proper morale when there is proper work-life balance. Okay, so now this technology, bringing in technology, how it impacts work-life balance. Positive impact. Okay, so it creates an in-office culture while working from home. Actually, now people have got blended with their work from home opportunity, and they have there are two impacts over here. One is the individual has started settling down in this work from home thing. For them, everything now they're just able to balance between the family and the work, jumping between this and that in a very effective way, and they have started going in this flexible working timing. For the organizations too, with the employees at home, for many of the organizations, it has become a cost-cutting part of less maintenance in the organization with the people only at home. No need to have complete office setup. Many organizations have reduced their office space. They have closed down their physical units and they have made the entire thing as an online interaction. All those things have happened. So this in-office culture while work from home, so that itself is actually a thing which is enjoyed by the people who are working from home. Then what happens is when they don't differentiate between work and life, they have the flexibility of working. It has become almost 24/7 working. It boosts productivity. They are able to produce more. And the organizations, they have started compensating for work from home people for the extra hours that they are contributing and things like that, which leads to better productivity. Then global collaboration is possible because of this technology. See, imagine there were days when we said a distance education course is not a recognized course. You have to do everything only through a regular mode. But after this COVID-19, what happened? Everything became online, including the schools. Now, where do we go to that concept of saying that if you study in a distance education mode, it is not regulated. So it's not a recognized thing. So like that, it has become, everything has become online and you are able to interact globally through the presence of this technology. So many things have come. There are people who never knew how to operate system, who never knew how to use a pen drive, how to use the internet, the Wi-Fi, etc. They are now in the facing the challenge of teaching online. So they have to stay updated. They have been compelled to become technically strong. So that is the power of this technology, which has enabled global collaboration. So what if it is COVID-19 first wave, second wave, Omicron, whatever it may be, still the interaction globally, it has been happening in all the last 2 years at its own pace. The next is safer management of money. So we have everything has become digitalized, digital money and things like that. So having more money in hand is not required these days, and transacting money in online, everything has become very, very, very simple. And our friends discussed about our friend panel discussion. He discussed about online, digitalization of banking services. So he will definitely agree. The space of banks, which used to be 2 decades ago, it used to be such a big place. But nowadays, with a very, very small place of around 200 feet, 100 square feet to 200 square feet, they're able to run all the banking services they're able to provide. So where they don't have the customers to need to come to the bank, they want to reduce everything. Even cash deposits are being facilitated. Everything is being facilitated very, very easily. So interaction to the bank is minimized to the maximum possible. So handling of money has become easier, and fast and easy data retrieval. So data storage, that again, the same bank example I would like to tell over here. What else could we say? If technology is the only thing which has grown in the last 20 years to a very, very great extent, like communication. So technology and communication, they've gone to unimaginable extent. So 20 years back, owning a PC was such a big dream for many people. Students, they had it as an option to buy a bike. You want a bike or you want a computer? It was like that. Now we are moving with computer in our hands. We are able to do everything wherever we are, whatever it may be. So that has become it. So it is very fast. You see, data can be stored, data can be retrieved. What I want to tell is the banking services again. The number of records that used to maintain. I remember asking a question in an IOB bank. How many years of data do you maintain in your bank? They said at least 10 years we have it in this place, and a further more years in a proper storage area, they said. But now we can't even think of that. That is where the spaces came down. Actually, the requirement for bank spaces came down. Everything has become online. Everything is being stored in the cloud, and it's being recovered. Retrieved when and wherever you want, from wherever you are, and access to it has become very easy. All that we need is, the challenge lies in getting knowledge, knowledgeable about that technology. That is where the organizations are struggling to give training, to identify the right people for implementing the technological things in a right way. Then technology simplifies everyday life, from your door locking system, crusher, and your dustbins, everything technology has come into. Everything technology has come. It has made life very, very simple these days. Okay, negatives, of course. I think this will be more. That's how I would say, because I am a person who is talking about work and life balance. I am not here to talk in favor of technology. So I am not against technology, but my concern is that technology is affecting our work-life balance. That is our problem now. So what happens? Less time with loved ones. Our children don't look at our faces while they talk. They keep playing on the mobile and they don't even look up when they talk. And that irritates us very, very badly, because they are completely technical savvy. They switch off the mobile, they see TV, they see the system, like that only. Everything is technical. So their relationship with loved ones has come down. They don't spend time with people. They always spend time into the technological aspects, which is not a right thing in the long run. Then lack of personal touch. See, you all would definitely not deny that if you had gone to Archie's Gallery or these shops to go buy a greeting card, physically you touch it, see it, feel it, like it, love it, buy it, you write your name, you decorate it with color pencils and sketch pens and go and give it to your friend. It was a lovely moment. Now it is just not happening. Again, landmark, a big, they are such big people. Our marketing madam is here, she will know what landmark is like. They had such huge space for greeting cards and things like that, but the space has again come down. They've cut down even in one floor completely, which was for all these greeting cards and things like that. So what is all that? There's no personal touch. Everything is just through a message, a happy birthday, everything is become through personal message, just through messages, nothing. There's no personal touch. So that's again a problem of technology, advent of technology. Again, suppose that's also a merit, of course. We are able to send messages quickly. Of course, that is there. But I'm talking about, again, not the real merits of technology. I'm talking about the work and life or the life that is getting affected because of the technology, which is overtaken it actually. Then lack of mathematics. See, even a simple calculation, we are searching for calculator. It was not like that earlier. Even 16 into 4, we are looking for a calculator these days. Because it has been conditioned that we are not able to do anything online, anything without a calculator. Or anything, we immediately go for Google. It's become that way. We want to convert $100 to US dollars. 100 INR to US dollars or whatever. $100 is how much in INR. Immediately we go to the Google. We are not ready to think of any calculation at all. So that has become like that. The next is lack of memory. Okay, you don't need to know. You see, this, this phone, we used to write the phone numbers of everybody those days. We used to have a phone diary. But these days, everything is in the phone. And we don't know the number of our own parents, our own sister or brother. We would have saved it in the name of the person. That's all. Number we don't remember because it is in the phone. We just call Amma and it calls Amma. Call Appa, it calls Appa. That's all. So we don't know the number. Suddenly it's gone. You want to call from somebody else's mobile, we don't know the number. Let us not just deny all this. You must definitely agree this all happens for all of us. We've all become that way. Behavioral problems. Okay, again, as I said, technology, it is making us get deviated from the routine. We are always spending more time on that and we are not behaving in a normal manner. Spending unnecessary time, unnecessary cost in technological advancements, and which is not at all right. And the social media, when we say that, I will bring in social media over here. It has its own plus and demerits, but people are so addicted to it that they don't know what they are doing. They're so happy when they get some likes from some people. When you post a YouTube video, the number of likes makes you go crazy. All that is the behavioral problems that is actually happening. You are so upset if you don't get likes. You are so elated if you get more likes. All these are some behavioral issues because of the technology. Then there is no play. There's no social skills. There's nothing called as playing. It's all playing on the mobile only. Going out and playing cards at home. Everything has gone down. Carrom board, that lies in the corner, always dusty. Chess, we don't even seem to buying that anymore. That also we play it on the system. So everything has become like that. There's no time for play. Obesity, because of the continuous sitting and continuous working on the system or whatever, obesity. Sleep problems due to continuous watching with the eyes into the screen, either the phone screen or the computer screen. Our technical friends will know what kind of occupational diseases that they undergo. After their continuous working of 10 to 20 years in IT industry, there are people who have a lot of occupational diseases like the spine problem and the fingers. The fingers get cramps very frequently because of continuously holding the mouse and so on. Like that, sleep problems. And what do you say, when you say it is technical jobs, it's mostly night shifts because of our clients who may be US clients or whatever. So what happens in that case, you are supposed to sleep from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. If you are not sleeping in that particular time, that much you are going to suffer after 40 years that you become. It's so much of occupational diseases you're going to get because of that night shift. So they may give you hardship allowance and whatnot, but still these allowances, you triple the time of allowances that you're getting, you're going to suffer after 40 years. So these are the problems because of technology again. Then violence. We see many things which is openly available in the internet, and it leads to unnecessary violence and unnecessary habits we get from the internet, which is not good. Okay, so this is actually like I wanted to say, it's digitalization. See, when we look at this, look at the mother, look at the child, look at the phone in her arm and the system that she's operating. I think she's the best multitasker we could say. And this has become the situation of all working women of late in the last 2 years after COVID-19. Again, this is because of this digitalization, which is possible. Of course, technology has made this possible. Now this lady is able to balance her work and life. She's able to take care of the child. She's able to take care of the work. This is multitasking. But where is the difference between work and life? It is again technology which has brought in the integration between both. So it is continuous 24 hours of everything, work and life together. Where is your personal time? Where is the Saturday and Sunday that you have been awaiting for? There is no differentiation. Even now after work from home, the boss calls you at any moment. It's not a mistake. He has the right to call you, which he wouldn't have done originally when you were working in office, and after you come home, they don't disturb you beyond a particular time. But now it is even midnight, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, they will call you and they'll ask you for a doubt because of the work from home culture which has come up. And that is because of the technology, the advent of technology that has come in. So that has really integrated. It has made easier things, but it has complicated the living also, where the work and life balance is distracting. Why is work-life balance essential? Okay, so just look at this distribution. Okay, this distribution says 6% of job security. See, wherever we are, if we are in a private sector or a public sector, whatever sector we are, some kind of challenge is always there in us that we have to stay in our jobs continuously. And for that purpose, it is 6%, I would say. So we do definitely feel job insecurity. Then, and our routine juggling work in our personal lives. Then 28% we would say people issues. But the overall thing is, the majority thing is 46%, which is your workload. For this aspect, because of this workload pressure that you are having, it leads to so many problems in your life. Okay, this is because of the workload pressure. Like anxiety, asthma, depression, fatigue, headache and all, we never minded if it was a headache. But if it's migraine, will you be still not without minding it? So that's how it has become. Insomnia, hypertension, diabetes, difficulty in breathing, suppression of the immune system. So these are the difficult things. Because of the work, the life gets distracted. Because of the work, the life gets distracted. But technology is there, which has made things simple to do it in an easier way. But this technology has some demerits, which is again causing health problems. That is also there. Okay. Now the students actually, what are the problem these students are facing because of this work-life imbalance actually? Okay, so this, because of the technology, I should say, because of the technology. Just 1 minute.
Madam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What happened?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir, I'm not able to hear you.
That your strike is hanging now. Your slides are hanging now. What happened?
I don't know, sir. I'm not able to see
you
the
continue,
titles.
please. You sum up the thing, please.
Yes.
Sum up your presentation.
Okay, sir. Okay, I'll just skip that slide, sir. Okay, this is okay. Social media, we can't be without. Okay, these are the problems the students are facing because of the technology, deteriorating student competencies of reading and writing, dehumanizing educational environment, distorting social interaction between teachers and students, isolating individuals when using technology. It can be addicting and it can hurt the communication skills. Extended screen time can result in health ramifications like insomnia, eye strain, and increased anxiety and depression. So these are the problems because of this technology that students are facing. Okay. When I talk about this, we cannot be without talking about social media. So only one recent study I would like to quote, and with this I will finish my presentation. Now see, this is a recent study which says the problem of the social media, what happens, what it causes, the addict that the students have on the social media, what kind of impact it has. See, based on the study that I mentioned here, see, it's a very, very recent study on published on the 12th January 2022. See, 22 out of 251 undergraduate students aged between 18 and 24, those who use social media, it was found that they had higher levels of blood protein that indicates chronic inflammation. Okay, so this C-reactive protein, no, it can be used to predict the development of illness such as diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular disease, etc. This is what, because of the technology. The technology which is leading to this kind of health issues for the students, younger generations, starting from 18, even from 13, people are now into technology like that. So these are the diseases which they are facing because of the addict in social media. We would never think like that, because social media is everything nowadays. Even if we do a program, it is promoted on social media, but still addict on social media is causing so many problems. People in the study who use social media more also reported more headaches, chest and back pain, and continuous trips to doctor. So that is it. So finally, I would like to say, however, digitalization, it cannot be denied, and it is our, what do you say? It is must, and it improves job satisfaction. It makes us to work easily. See, we are now able to interact again online from wherever we are, see each other, talk to each other. Communication has become very, very easy. Digitalization is one main reason. So it improves job satisfaction, but it blurs work and life balance. It definitely disturbs the work and life balance. But it promotes more worker autonomy. Okay, because digitalization at work brings challenges and as well as opportunities, it's important for managers to understand them completely in order to eliminate the risk and increase the favorable effects. So you cannot do anything. We cannot say, I don't want digitalization. We have to go along with the wind. So then what happens? The managers are supposed to see how things can be done in a better way, how people can be taken care, how work and life balance can be provided to a maximum possible extent. So that is the summary I would like to tell from here, because see, technology is integrating this work and life. That is a plus, but it is causing health issues. That is what I'm trying to say through my presentation. It is causing long-term issues. At present, in the career, it is helping to perform in the organization, but it is causing long-term disturbances. That has to be taken care by the industrial leaders. Thank you very much. So finally, I would like to say, work is not where you go, but it is what you do. So wherever you are, now you are able to work. That is the blessing of technology, which means it has integrated work and life. Everything is now same everywhere. Wherever you are, you can do everything possible. So that is it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Soumya Madam, for your very elaborative presentation on integration of work and life. And you have highlighted the negative effects of technology and the balancing in work and life, benefits of work-life balance, then the impact of technology on the work-life balance, both in positive impact and the negative impact, and that as a teacher, that you have touched so many points by quoting the students' online education examples and many things. Excellent, madam. That one thing from your presentation, in a lighter way, I want to mention, if you ask the teachers to speak, they used to speak for more time than the other industry people. And we are the lovers to speak and deliver more. And so we, the teachers, always speak more. That is a one that in a lighter way that I want to share with you, but excellent message. And you have that shown a picture that about the multitasking of that a particular woman. I think you didn't notice our Tamil Nadu student. They are now having multiple tasks they are doing. While riding the bicycle, they are listening to the class. While watching the cinema, they are listening to the class. And they are doing multiple work now. And that multiple skills and all developed by our students nowadays. And one important point along with that in a lighter way, that reduce the absenteeism, one of the benefits of work-life balance. It is more that is more now relevant now for the government institution teachers as well as the students. Almost all the students are having 100% securing 100% attendance now. So that is in a lighter way. But one important thing is those social discomfort, your point regarding the effects of technology, that is a very valid point. And the privacy also another important point. I think now that lot of divorce cases after the pandemic now, because of this privacy and this social disconnect. And one important point with that I move on to next, that you mentioned about less time with the loved ones because of the negative impact you mentioned, less time with the loved ones. I think now we are spending more time with the loved one because of the more time at home, that gives a negative impact. That is my observation, whether it is right or wrong, that you have to say based on your experience. Then my question from my side, madam, now the work culture is changed. How do we create a healthy work culture in the technology-based digital working environment? Do you have any answer for this? Healthy work culture creation is
yes, sir. Because as I told you, yes, because as I told you, digitalization cannot be denied. So the organizations have to understand the digital culture. They have to understand the culture. They have to communicate the culture to their employees, and they have to highlight the difference of becoming digital and before digital. What is the difference actually? When you communicate that to the employees, obviously the organization can make it effectively. And for this, right tools are required for you to actually bring in this digital culture. Then even if it is digital, you have to make opportunities to see and discuss, have continuous meetings. You have to conduct meetings and continuous feedbacks to check whether the digital culture is being really followed or not, whether it is implemented properly or not, whether it is really worth going digitalization rather than being not digitalized.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much, madam, for your very elaborate presentation. Now everyone that eagerly waiting for the Dr. Mohan Kumar sir's presentation and AI, artificial intelligence in business, that is AI applications in business. And everywhere now AI application. If you book that tickets in the IRTC, AI is there, and if we are in the waiting list, it indicates when that the possibilities of confirmation for our ticket IRTC tells. If we apply the loan in the bank, then the possibilities of getting the amount and the quantum of the amount and the repayment period, the bank is telling through the AA. Like that, now AA is everywhere, and especially lot of areas in which now AA is applied, and along with all the students and the faculty also, I am also eagerly waiting to listen to Mr. Mohan Kumar in the topic artificial intelligence in business. Over to Ram Kumar, sir. Sir, please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sudale Muthu. Good afternoon, all. May I check how much time do I have to complete my presentation?
Similar to others, 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
20 minutes you take.
Thank you very much.
Yes, your topic is very, very important topic. That is why minimum you have to take 20 minutes. That students are ready to take your input, realizing the importance, I hope.
Thank you very much. I would like to start by thanking Dr. Lima and the organizing committee for allowing me this opportunity. It's a privilege for me to make this presentation to the Loyola College and the students. So I'm sure all of us by now would have heard the term artificial intelligence, and it's more often used in the last 4 to 5 years. But it's important for us to recognize artificial intelligence itself is not new. It's been there in the, just allow me a couple of seconds. There is a bit of an echo from my side.
whether you are using any simultaneously two instruments, if you have used the two instruments simultaneously, then the possibilities of echoes may be.
Okay.
Mobile and the system, if you use simultaneously, then echo will come. You switch off your mobile.
Not actually. Yeah, just give me a few seconds. I'm sorry about this.
For us, it's working perfectly, Mohan.
Yeah, for us it is right, but while delivering, you used to get echo. Dr. Arun Sureshar, now normally, if you use two instruments simultaneously,
correct, sir,
then
correct,
that problem occurs.
We'll have the echo.
All right, looks like it's sorted out now. Thanks for that.
Please.
Yes, it's working perfectly.
All right, good. So, like I was saying, we may have heard this term more often in the last few years, but it's important for us to understand artificial intelligence is not new. The AI technologies has been there for now close to about 6 to 7 decades already. Also, we may have heard a lot of related terms around robotic process automation, machine learning, deep learning, computer vision. So maybe I'll just try and I'll not go deep into technology and the algorithms and the related technical terms, but yet it's important for us to understand at some basic level, what are we talking about? What is AI and how it is different from machine learning and deep learning? Okay, so at the very fundamental level, AI means the ability of a machine to perform certain activities that were erstwhile only possible with the cognitive abilities of humans. So that would mean, our ability to perceive things, do problem solving, learning, or reasoning, right? So if a machine is now able to do this, now we broadly classify that as artificial intelligence. So then the natural question is, if the technology has been there for many decades, why now is it more popular? Why is it now being adopted, and why not before? Right. So this is where we talk about the coming together of advances in the algorithmic technologies, the progression that the data scientists and the computer scientists have made, and also importantly, the amount of data that is being made available to train the machine learning models, and more importantly, the computing power that has increased significantly at a fraction of a cost than what it was before. Maybe we can just see some key elements of that. So when we speak about algorithmic advances, the French mathematician Legendre, he was he was the first one to come up with a regression model. I think the least square method regression model that is used for identifying orbital bodies around the sun. So that laid the basis of the machine learning models that was to come in the future. And then about a century and a half later, sometime in 1958, then we have the American computer scientist Frank, I'm forgetting his second name, I'm sorry. So he had come up with the first self-learning algorithm. And then as you can see, we came up with deep learning and then the graphic processor units to train deep learning models and so on. I've missed to mention the page rank model that the Google founders had come up with in the year 1998. Sergey Brin and Larry Page had come up with the algorithm, so that we all have been using, as long as we've been using Google, right? So so as you can see, the progression that we have made in the the algorithmic model for self-learning was one of the pivotal aspects, of AI. The second pillar we speak about is the availability of data. Then you might, naturally question, so why do we need data? If you have the algorithm that can run on computing power, what's the importance of data? It's important for us to understand that for a machine learning model or an artificial intelligence to perform, we need to train the machine learning model. And to train the model, we need a vast amount of data. And when we speak about data, and naturally we have to speak about internet and the user-generated data, sometime in, starting all the way right from 1991, when the European Organization for Nuclear Research opened up the World Wide Web to the public. And then sometime in 2004, there was a creation of Web 2.0 that led, that opened up the gates for user-generated data. It's not just, passive viewing of information of data in the internet, but also more interactive and creation of data by the consumers and the users in the social media and the platforms, web platforms. And then if you see sometime in 2007, we took it to a different level when Steve Jobs from Apple launched iPhone, the smartphone revolution. That then, again, made computing power and data creation at the hand, brought the power of computers in the phone, for the users to consume as well as generate data. And you can see sometime in 2017, the amount of data that we are generating on a daily basis is about 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. And that's about 18 zeros, right? Of 2.5 quintillion bytes of data that we generate. And if you know, an interesting fact is that all of data that we have today, if you take all of the data that we have in the entire universe, about 90% of the data has been created only in the last 2 years. Okay, so that's the amount of data that we generate. And then finally, the computing power that I just alluded to earlier. The amount of computing power has gone multifold, and the cost has kind of become a fraction of that. If you see sometime in 2005, the cost of 1 GB disk storage had dropped to 0.79. It's come down significantly now. But sometime in 1995, the cost of 1 GB disk storage was about $277, right? So this is kind of unimaginable amount of cost. So what you see here in 2002, when Amazon brought cloud storage and computing to the consumers, end users. So today, when we speak about in 2022, we have access to computer grade and supercomputing power by having access to platforms in the public cloud. It could be AWS or Azure, a platform from Microsoft or Google Cloud, right? So it's really the coming together of all these three aspects that has made AI possible in terms of commercialize. We are able to commercialize this algorithmic advances for adoption in the industries. Now, I spoke about machine learning a couple of times before, and then deep learning. The simplest way to understand this would be that machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence that uses certain algorithms to self-learn. And then deep learning is again a subset of machine learning. It again uses a different set of algorithms that can learn about patterns and then come up with a more accurate prediction or a recommendation. right? So it's only sufficient for us to understand that artificial intelligence is a more broader term. There are certain artificial intelligence technologies that does not include machine learning and deep learning. And again, there are certain machine learning algorithmic models that excludes deep learning. I will not go deep into the linear, non-linear algorithms and the various machine learning models for the purpose of this discussion. But I thought this was important for us to kind of have a baseline understanding of what are we talking about when we speak about AI. With that, when we move into the applications in business, there are in fact thousands, or maybe many more hundreds of thousands of AI applications. But I'm just taking up some of that so that we appreciate where AI is applied in the business world. There are some examples that I've put here. So it can be used by the talent acquisition team in companies to provide a better decision framework for hiring new employees. It can be used by the commercial marketing team for pricing decision based on what is the price at which the product or the services could be sold in the market. It could be used by the supply chain team or the marketing team for forecasting product demand and inventory levels. At the manufacturing floor, it can be used to detect defective products on a production line through images. I spoke about computer vision earlier. This is what the AI technology that can do it. And then the supply chain management team, for stock picking and for stocking and picking inventory using robots in the logistics function. Even IT departments use AI for multiple use cases, including simulating cyber attacks on IT systems. In terms of industry use cases, I think Mr. Murali spoke about using AI technology for looking at customer propensity to buy products, banking products. So here is one example. So AI can be used to classify potential customers, prospects, to identify whether they are able to repay a loan, and then make a decision based on that, whether you can offer them a loan or not. It can be used in the health industry to diagnose health diseases from medical scans. In fact, interestingly, I just saw a news article a couple of days back that talked about a particular startup in India that has come up with an app with which one can identify eye-related problems for elderly people with just the help of the phone, the camera and the phone, right? This technology is also being applied for to replace radiologists to look through the scans and then identify whether someone has a particular malignant tumor, or this is something not to be worried about. So it's used in the fashion industries to generate potential ideas for design ideas. And across industries, there's an AI-based technology called natural language processing that uses chatbots that come very close to addressing nuanced customer needs and inquiries. Right. At the very basic level, AI is just trying to do two things. One is trying to improve the productivity, operational efficiencies, and save cost for the company, or look at opportunities to increase revenue by identifying new areas for revenue generation. Right. Since the theme of this conference is e-commerce, I've put together some AI use cases that are used in the e-commerce industry. It's being used to predict how likely someone is to click an online ad, or to predict whether registered users will be finally, be willing to pay for a particular price pay a particular price for a product or not, how there are dynamic engines that work, and how it can optimize pricing in real time for in an online app auction. This talks about a credit card transaction, whether that's a fraud or not. If it's a fraud, it can actually stop the transaction from completing. Look at detecting fake reviews and opinions on social media. I think Ms. Salin spoke about this some time back. And to look at analyzing sentiments to assess the product perception in the market, and based on that, look at segmenting the user groups, consumer groups, and then look at even recommending the next best product for them to buy. So these are some examples that are there in the e-commerce. But like I said again, there are hundreds. These are just some examples for you to think through where it is applied in real world. And all these use cases have been in production for many years already. So these are not new. So what's really ahead of us, right? Some thoughts. One is future of work and life. One aspect that when we speak about future of work and how AI impacts the future, there are multiple levels. One at the individual level. So we will have to look at what are the skills that are going to be automated and taken over by AI, right? And then at the organization level, the organization has to decide how are they going to kind of classify roles that are going to be performed primarily by machines, and then there are certain roles that are going to be performed only by humans. And then there's a third category of roles where the AI enables the roles that will be performed by humans, right? So this is an important topic because most of these organizations that have been for a long time has got huge amount of employee base, have to now actively start thinking about how they're going to retrain the employees. If they're not going to retrench them, how they're going to retrain and redeploy them in the new areas of of the organization. So it's got implications from that aspect. And again, at the national level or at the international level, the policymakers have to decide, so how are they going to come up with the training methodologies, institutions, and the capability to build a workforce that is ready for the future. So, right. So we have that aspect to think about. One of the data points suggests that about 40%, anywhere from 40% to about 51% of all roles has the potential to be fully automated. That's the first category that I spoke about. That is, AI alone can start and complete the work with no intervention from humans in about 15 years. So that's you can imagine the significance of the implication of AI. This is over the next 10 to 15 years. Okay, so and so what kind of jobs then will be automated? What kind of the jobs are hard to be mimicked by AI, right? So any role that requires human emotions like empathy or creativity, right? So these roles are difficult to be automated through AI. So these would be roles around management, teaching, therapy, right? So anything related to creativity in terms of writing books or creating music and such. Pretty much the rest of it could either be fully taken over by AI or will be enabled by AI for the humans to take the decisions, based on the AI's prediction or recommendation, right? The second aspect is the ethics and explainability of the AI, which is now called as explainable AI. So so what do I mean by ethics? So, as humans, tend to have biases, and when humans design, put in data that is not truly representative of the population, AI, runs past this data that is not a true representation of the overall population, and then the AI develops a logic which then is biased. Okay, let me just take this, take an example of this. So this is a case study from Columbia University, right? So what the hospital was, a US-based hospital was trying to do is to basically just try and look at come up with an AI model that can help them to identify if a patient reports in with a pneumonia, whether the patient can be sent back home with antibiotics, or will they have to recommend the patient to be admitted in the hospital, right? So they wanted to create an AI model, and they did. But when they input the data, what happened was, there was one issue which they found, a bit later. If you know about pneumonia, flu, right? So one of the aspects about that is, if it is accompanied by asthma, then the patient could kind of get to a critical stage. And typically what happens is the doctors would then recommend these patients, inpatients, to be transferred to the critical, to ICU or the critical care unit, which then minimizes the death, or, kind of nullifies, the effect of that. Now, in the data set that they used to train this machine learning model, what happened was, there was no instance of anybody from asthma, who died. So it led the machine learning model to assume that anybody with asthma, right, so could be sent home. Asthma and pneumonia could be sent home, and will then not be required to be admitted in the hospital. I'm not sure if you really followed my example. In short, what I'm trying to say is, some of these, it's very critical for the data scientist whose help the organizations will take to train the machine learning models to choose the right data sets, because it's easy for the biases to come in if there is an mistake made there, or if there is some an incomplete or an incorrect data set that is being fed in. The machine, at the end of the day, the machines are not more intelligent than humans are, and therefore the aspects around ethics is an important topic. So the other example could be for an autonomous vehicle. Now, an autonomous vehicle, which is supposed to go take right, let's say it just takes left and then maybe just causes some physical damage to a property or a person. So then, how are we going to who's liable for that damage, right? So is the affected party going to go after the car company, or the person who wrote the machine learning, who trained the machine learning model with the data set, or the data scientist? And what are the implications from an insurance point of view? So there are these questions that are not answered yet. Because it's the spurt of AI adoption has been so drastic in the last few years that some of these questions are yet to be answered. And then we talk about explainability of AI. So the banks use AI extensively also to look at whether they can give a loan to a company or an individual. And if this AI models that I just spoke about before, deep learning models. Deep learning is one is a subset of the machine learning model that uses multi-layered neural networks to to come up with a recommendation or a prediction. And therefore, it is very difficult for somebody to go in and then understand why the machine learning machine thought it was not a good idea to give a loan to a loan applicant or not. And this becomes an issue because some of these industries are highly regulated, and if a potential customer is denied a service, then there is good reason for the company or the bank to give an explanation as to why they were denied a loan or not. This also has implications as to what kind of machine learning models that one requires to choose, for implementing specific use cases, because we speak about certain algorithms that can explain the decision or the recommendation it has made, even though the accuracy level of that might be a bit low. And then you have these deep learning models, that uses algorithms like convolutional neural networks and such, right? So that is very difficult for these algorithms to explain, because they form their own logic. And they're not going to kind of tell you why they have come up with an decision whether to allow a loan, to recommend to approve a loan or not. So this is another area that there's a lot of investment is going on right now, in terms of fine, we use AI in the business, but for some of the cases there is a need to explain the decisions why the AI machine made such a decision, right? So that's the second area. The third will be the data privacy and security. As much as AI is used for data protection and detecting frauds, and like I mentioned in one of the earlier use cases, deployed by IT to avoid cyber attack, it also increases the risk of the consumer data, the user data being leaked, because AI at the end of the day is going to be trained by huge amount of user data, and there is what that means is there is a lot of data being consolidated by companies, either from their own records, or they use public data sets to train these machine learning models, and there is a lot of data being aggregated at one place. So any breach of these data sets in any of the organizations could lead into a massive data leakage issue. And then, as we all know today, privacy data is a big topic, and we all want to protect our data. We want to have a say on what data is being collected and how is it being used, for what purpose it is being used. And clearly, we don't want our data to be out there being sold in the dark web. Okay, so these are some of the key aspects that are there in terms of AI and machine learning models. Okay, so it's important. I think someone made a mention that the traditional banks are going to continue, Mr. Murali, and that is true. And we're going to have roles for people coming from all disciplines. It could be arts, science, it could be commerce, everywhere. But what's important for us to understand is today every business is a technology business, right? So it's by that what I mean. It need not mean the end product is a technology, but it's important for all people from all functions to understand technology, at least at a basic level, and that in fact can put you in your career ladder. It can accelerate your journey, because you will be considered for projects, special projects, and initiatives within your company that you're going to join. If you understand technology, and if you are a person with that brings in multidisciplinary skills and knowledge, so I would highly recommend you to have have an understanding about AI and machine learning models. You don't really have to kind of do a specialization on that. There are a lot of material on the net. I would recommend you to potentially look at some of these websites. You could even take up a course if you like. There are a lot of material on Coursera, unless you need to have a certificate, then you don't have to pay for it. These are free courses. If your interest is purely to learn and understand, then you can just go register yourself and then go through some of these material. There are some of the courses that are offered by Andrew Ng from Stanford University, who is one of the pioneer. I've taken up a couple of courses from him in Coursera. Yeah, so that's really what I would say. In a very this is what I could cover in a very short duration, but I'm happy to take any questions. What I've said from Dr. Sudale Muthu or any of the other audience.
Marvelous, sir. Marvelous, and very effective presentation you have made in the title AI applications in business. Started with what is AI and why the AI is required now. And while explaining the AI, there are different components involved in this. Deep learning, machine learning, artificial intelligence. You segregated all these things and narrated. Then you list out various application areas. Hiring that application areas like hiring the employees, pricing the product, forecasting and demand estimation, supply chain management, simulation of cyber attacks, identify the potential customers, etc. Like that, you identified the important areas in which AI application at present used and going to be used. And then that application, that is AI application in e-commerce also, you list out mainly with the prediction, deduction of fraudulent credit card transaction. Then that already that Amanda Madam's presentation, we had a discussion regarding the fake reviews. That fake reviews deduction and opinion deduction also very nicely you highlighted, and recommending the next product, the suitable product for the market as well as the supplier you have mentioned. And apart from that, you highlighted one important point: a skilled workforce is required in that area. So here only I have the question. So yes, definitely skilled workforce is required. For that, you suggested some of that material, where the material is available, like McKinsey study reports and the Coursera and other things. And now my simple question is, right, sir, there are a lot of courses offered by Coursera and McKinsey and the World Economic Forum reports. Many reports are available. In addition to that, our NASCOM's Future Skills also offering free courses, and the Khan Academy also offering the free courses. NPTEL also offering the free courses. MOOC also offering the free courses. But the thing is, this student, mainly the commerce students, what kind of skills that required by this kind of commerce students to fetch the opportunities that are already available, that is going to be emerged in the future. If whether you can able to, I think something you highlighted, and you mentioned about the multidisciplinary approach, but specifically, if you could have mentioned some of the specific skills required to get into that area in terms of acquiring the job, I think it would give a better insight to that young students. Sir, please. Sir.
Okay, sure. Okay, it's important. I would like to just connect to one of the other points that I just made. So I think a good point area to start with is to understand what are the jobs and the roles that are available today that are going to be that are viable or conducive for a full automation. If you look at commerce, if I'm not a commerce student, but I'll make an attempt. So there are two aspects to it. One is the accounting aspect, and then the second is the aspect related to finance. So there is some background noise. I'm not sure if I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
You are audible,
okay.
Sir.
Okay, thank you. So I'm aware of accounting being one of those areas that is ripe for a full automation, for AI to take over completely. So it's important for the students to first understand what are those functions within the commerce. It could be accounting, finance, project accounting. It could be looking at mergers and acquisitions, looking at there are different aspects to it. Then look at those areas that are going to be, and then try and have a career path in an area that is not going to be easily automated. Correct. So I would think of it that as the starting step. The second will be, I'm not sure if if the commerce students, I've seen commerce students get into different aspects of management, which is in itself a very wide area. There are different functions within the management, and start looking at even in YouTube. Though I've just mentioned a couple of courses in Coursera, there are a lot of material available to try and understand how in those areas where they are interested to have a career, where is AI applied, in which functions and processes is AI applied. Okay, so that is one knowledge. The second appreciation that one should have is, how is AI implemented? Correct. So one is where it is implemented. Second is how it is being implemented. And this knowledge is also essential, because tomorrow, when the students kind of join a company, go through, be an executive and then get into management, somebody who appreciates where and how AI is applied, will have an edge over the others. The reason is, AI, like I mentioned, data is the fuel for AI, right? And good understanding of some basic level of understanding of how does one use data and data science for assessing automation candidates within any function, right, in an organization, will, I would say, set you apart, even within the finance function, right, or a commercial function within an organization. Yeah, so that's what I have to say.
Okay, sir. So data, that is very, very important. I think so. If we want to implement better AI, so that data is very, very important. And I think that a proper automation, a proper transformation into digitalization, that automatically that generate an appropriate data, and that appropriate data automatically helps to implement all these kind of effective required this AI application. I think so. Am I right, sir?
I think you've summarized it correctly. Yeah, I just would like to caution that what specific data will one use to train the machine learning model is in itself a separate specialized subject. It's a data science subject. What I'm requesting is for the students who are not getting into the technology area to have an appreciation of how it is being implemented, right? Yeah. So what goes in, somebody who understands not just where it could be implemented, but how it could be implemented. will be an essential knowledge for for anybody who wants to be part of the future workforce.
Correct. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. And you please unshare your screen, please. And,
okay.
Yeah. And with the permission of the organizer, I want to take some of the questions that I have received from the chat box. And I will read out the question. Question number 1, I think it is related to marketing. I think Amanda madam can able to answer to this. How is going digital a comfort for the uneducated people? Madam Amanda?
Yes.
Whether you got a question? The question from that one of the participants, how is going a digital a comfort for the uneducated people? So the digitalization, how is going to give the comfort to the uneducated people? So here that I think you please give the answer. Sure. Uneducation here have a different meaning now in the digitalization area. In that area.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. You please give the answer for.
Great.
Uneducated, not the traditional meaning of uneducation is different.
I know. See, as I told you, when transformation happens, it started accustoming or customization also happened along the way, right? So what used to be quite complicated, even digitally those days, has started happening by the touch of a button. And language, if you see earlier, Google was only in English. Today, you have Google in different languages, right? So it's not that as digitization happens, as technology transforms, they're also trying to address different strata of the societies, different segments of the society. So obviously, things are getting more simplified. As I mentioned as the last point, seamless digital transactions have come into play. And this is one aspect where, seamless digital transactions can be identified as well. So I think digitization has been addressing that area of, or that segment of people as well already, and it will continue to do so.
Nice, madam. One more question to you by another participant. Will there be technological impact in health infrastructure?
It has already been happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, please give that.
Yeah. So see, as I was mentioning, when COVID started, governments and healthcare organizations had to track the number of cases, right? Had to track that the cases who were already affected were not communicating the disease to the other people by stepping out. So there, they started implementing AI and IoT by, giving them watches around their hands or their legs to monitor whether people were moving out of their houses. So that was one way where technology, imbibed itself in the healthcare sector, right? And we see operations being done from one part of the world on another patient who is doctors who are not even face-to-face with the patients, right? So their improvisation has been happening. So like that, it's still continuing, and it will continue to be a major influencing factor across all sectors.
And nice, madam. In addition to that, I want to quote one example here. Recently, that in India, especially in South India, the City Union Bank, you might have heard about that. City Union Bank introduced a smartwatch in collaboration with the health service provider called QIA. So that the health also that they can able to monitor, and healthy tips also given. And through the smartwatch, the banking operation also can able to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, that is an innovative product introduced by City Union Bank. Like that, many examples are there. Very nice explanation. Thank you, Amanda. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
And questions to Mohan from sir. Sir, will already given the answer, but even then, that Sneha Priya asked this question: will AI control human beings' senses in the future? Is it a threat to humanity? Second question. Then, Is artificial intelligence really the future? Sir, Ramkumar sir? Mohan Ram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear
question
me?
Is, will AI control human beings' senses in the future? Senses.
Yeah, not unless, sense is different from sensibility. Okay. So the first thing is, there are technologies that we can put inside, inside a human that can enable us, to do, uh, for example, one of the areas where AI is being implemented in a human is in the area of prosthetics. So somebody who does not have a hand or a limb can actually, with the help of AI, can send the brain signals into the prosthetic limb or or hand, and then have near 100% capability as a natural hand will have, right? So this is an example where AI and technology can actually play a role, because this this aspect of technology is being the accuracy of it is being improved with the help of machine learning models. Yeah. So so to answer the question, yeah, AI can be used in humans bodies to help them. Yeah.
That along with that, one more question is that AI, is it a threat to the humanity, or challenges or opportunities?
There are
challenge or opportunity. AI for the humanity.
Okay, so this is a question that has been vastly discussed and debated. I will give you my opinion to that. It is both, but it depends on where you come from, right? So it is a threat if I'm in a, if I'm not able to unlearn and relearn something that will have a job or a role in the future. So then it is a threat, but it is really an opportunity at various levels. If it is it's an opportunity for me to explore, exploit as an individual or as a company to improve productivity, then you look at it as an opportunity. The other question that you asked is more severe. Is it a threat to humanity? Was that one of the questions? Okay. So yeah, so because when we say if it is a threat to humanity, then we are talking about, can AIs take over the humans completely and rule the world, correct? As of now, there is no such with the advances that we have reached so far, there is nothing that should worry us that eventuality happening. But it does not mean to say after 5 years, 10 years, will it further progress to a stage like the deep learning technology that I just spoke about. If it has the ability to assemble, because it is at the end of the day today, residing in a computer, if it can assemble and then kind of create its own physical form, and then kind of start developing the sensibilities that I was just speaking about, right? Then we don't know, but some of these are science fiction material, right? Yes, but as of now, no. But it's also important to understand the the nations, or if AI technology falls in not so good hands, it could be used, because you can create humanoid based soldiers, right, or weapons that can do mass destruction, correct? So that can be done today, right? So so it's important to understand some of these aspects, but is it a threat to humanity itself? I think not yet.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And other questions related to the AI language, I think Amalda madam already given the answer related to that. So the last question is, any panel members can able to answer. Which job you think that it won't be automated other than the technology sector? Which job you think that it won't be automated? That is the question.
Okay.
Sneha Priya.
Okay, I have some thoughts around it, but if any of the other panel members would like to take a go at it first, I would allow them the opportunity.
The answer you continue, let them share a little bit later. Yeah.
All right. So, like I mentioned, any any profession or a job that requires empathy, human empathy, right? For example, psychiatry is just one easiest example. But at the organization level, a management, of people, right? So at the end of the day, we are managing people and their emotions, correct? Cannot be easily replaced by AI. In fact, I think if it'll ever be replaced by AI, because managers and leaders inspire, motivate people, right? Now, it's going to be very difficult for us to think of, can a machine really motivate us to do something, right? So managerial roles, right? But at the same time, if the manager that we are speaking about is someone who's an armchair manager who just comes and says, kind of gets, ask people to do things, but not really emotionally connected, and then that's the kind of manager who's going to be easily, replaced, by AI. Correct. A supervisor can be replaced, but maybe not a manager. Any job roles that requires creativity, like writing, writing is one aspect, music, right? Painting, some of these, has its, are not easy to be replaced.
Yeah, creativity and innovation. Yes. Any other answer from the other panel members? For this,
Mr. Mohan, what about the teaching profession, Mohan?
Same as the manager, because if the students are able to learn, teachers inspire us, okay, to learn, and also they have an emotional connect with the students. I would say, from my opinion, and also the industry opinion, is that it's not something that can be easily replaced. Rather, the teachers, it is one of those roles where the teachers use AI to better perform their role. Yeah, it's one of that enables the teacher to do.
It facilitates more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dr. Arun Suresha, and yes, that I have one along with that one, I want to add two more things. Yes, sir, there are three important roles we are playing. One is we are educating, and we are providing the skill through the training. These two things keep on changing. But one important thing is, now that all the employer that required is the attitude. So the attitude that through the technology we can't change that attitude won't change. That everybody has to build a good attitude that only bring a lot of success. According to me, I think it may
yes,
be.
Sir, yes, sir. I agree, sir. I agree. 100% agree. Sir.
Yeah. Yes. And if any other question, otherwise I want to sum up. Already I have taken much time. In this, Madam, Lima Rose, Madam, can I conclude that session now?
Yes, sir, you can conclude
yeah,
this. Yeah. Because we are paper
running out of
time.
Participants yes. So, in this panel 2, that it's now all the 4 speakers about the banking, about the marketing, about work balancing and the AI application, all are relevant areas. They narrated very well, explained very well, and interestingly, they add a lot of value additions in that area through their presentation. From all the presentation, I want to give 2 messages to all the students and the teachers. One message a teacher Mohan already mentioned. We the teachers, we have to learn, and something we have to unlearn and we continuously relearn, then only we can able to sustain in that education industry, the education sector now. And we have to create a manpower, a new manpower we have to create now. That especially now after the pandemic, now the colleges and all reopened. Now the students' mindset and all different. They are not ready to listen to our traditional form of delivering that information in the class. So the students, they don't want the information in the class, and they want more of demonstration, and they want more of skill oriented, and the market also required that. So if we want to give more skill and we want to demonstrate more on that, and we have to continuously unlearn our unwanted previous thing, relearn, and that continuously you have to learn the things and you have to deliver to the students. That is that message that I have taken from all the panel speakers today. That is one thing. So along with that, skilling, reskilling, and unskilling, that is also part of that. This is the message I want to give it to the young teachers now. And World Economic Forum recently published a paper. In that paper, what they have mentioned is 58% of the young students community, they are not ready to listen to the traditional way of presenting the information on the class. That is 58%. The report is available. So that we have to keep it in your mind. Accordingly, we have to change our curriculum, pedagogy, and our delivery model and all. This is one. Number two, regarding the students, the same message, you please that observe the market, the future job, that is going to be a different one. Mere getting degree doesn't serve the purpose. You may hold the degree, but the degree alone won't give that job opportunity to you unless you have the skill, appropriate skill that is required by the industry now. So you please acquire the skill. Lot of free training platforms are available. Mohan Ram sir mentioned very clearly. So lot of that platforms are available, and online platforms are available to provide the skills, and you have to upskill yourself and reskill yourself and get ready to tap the opportunities available in the market. Then only it will give the success. That is the purpose of organizing this kind of a virtual international conference by Loyola College and the organizing group under leadership of Lima Rose. I hope the students can be able to take the message from this conference, especially from this panel. This is my concluding remark, and all the 4 panel members with their experience excellently explained their topic and the changes, the transformation taken place in the respective area. So that kind of innovation, so now taken place in the market, that is the innovative business practices that are followed in the business. So that is, we call it as the world 4.0 or industry 4.0. We can say education 4.0 or learning 4.0, whatever it may be. If we want to get into that, then you have to adopt the practices, accept the innovative practices, and relearn, re-equip yourself. That will give the successful life to both the teachers as well as the students. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best to all the students. Thank you very much to Madam Leela Rose, my good friend Arul Suresh, and all other organizing committee members and the panel members. Thank you. Over to Dr. Lima Rose.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Dr. Sudale Muthu, moderator, and all the astonishing panelists for providing us a wonderful insight into the opportunities unveiled through technology. I would also like to thank Mr. Marcy, Dr. Francis Jose, and Mr. Israel Inbraj for joining us. Now, we will move on towards the paper presentation session, where we will get a glimpse of the efforts and persistent hard work put out by our much enthusiastic and ignited authors from all around. First and foremost, we will be having the paper presentation by Dr. Uttara and Ms. Rachel, hailing from MOP Vaishnav College. The title of the paper is Artificial Intelligence, the Future of Marketing. Over to you, Rachel.
Madam,
Rachel, unmute your audio, Rachel.
Yes, I will do that.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
That panel members and this my presentation is required here now?
Not necessary, sir. You can give. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. And the panel members' presence also not required. Am I right?
Yes, sir. If you want, you can stay back. Sir.
Yeah, right.
The paper presentation, you can stay back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, sir. So good evening to all of you, one and all present here. So this is the paper done by Dr. Uttara D, Vice Principal, MOP Vaishnav College, and Dr. Ms. Rachel KJ, Assistant Professor, MOP Vaishnav College. So my topic is Artificial Intelligence, the Future of Marketing. Just a minute. Sorry, ma'am, I think there's something wrong with the... So what is artificial intelligence? You must have heard about artificial intelligence nowadays in movies and books and newspapers. So artificial intelligence is like is a thing that can think like it's a thing that can think like a human. So we can say that artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in mission that are performed to think and act like human. So any mission that can think like a human is called as artificial intelligence. So by using big data along with algorithm will lead to artificial intelligence, which is further broadened as machine learning and deep learning. Both falls under the category of artificial intelligence. So to give you an example of a combination of machine learning and deep learning, we can take a best example as Amazon Alexa. So artificial intelligence has been widely used in different jobs and industries these days. In fact, we are all in touch with it every day, even if we don't notice it. Like the moderator sir already told us that IRTC app, which helps you in booking tickets, and it tells you what is the percentage of your availability in case if it is going to be waiting list. Another example is Netflix movie suggestions. So you're looking for a movie, next time it gives you suggestions based on the search that you had done in the past. And another example that happens to us in an everyday life is your mobile phone. We do not use PIN codes now. We actually use this face recognition, which again, we can say that artificial intelligence is present. And nowadays, many organizations has started using artificial intelligence. And because of that, we can say they have become more innovative, flexible, and adaptive than ever. But moving on to my topic, but how it can be applied in marketing. So starting with social media advertising. So AI was effectively implemented with machine learning. So for example of social media advertising is the famous Facebook and Instagram. So Instagram is being very happening these days. So what do? They examine the user's past information and interest, which helps them to personalize what type of content and ads that should be showed in their feed. For example, you would have checked for Amazon. If you have checked for any product in Amazon, maybe you must be browsing Instagram. So when you are browsing Instagram, you can see something popping out with saying that Amazon, these products are available because you had searched it a few hours before or a few days before. So using your past purchases or viewing your history, they improve the recommendation engine. So this is one of the thing where you can be applied in marketing. Another example is the chat box. So the chat box, the famous chat box, all of us have been using this Swiggy and Zomato. So you can see this 24/7 customer service where you can see them actually replying you like a human. Their replies are like human. It's been improved over the period of time. They reply to you like humans, and anything you want to return policy, you want to return the product, or you want to refund back, Everything is done just with the help of a chat box. And again, artificial intelligence is present there. The third one is predictive analysis. So one of the main advantages in artificial intelligence is marketing is its ability to predict sales and foresee customer behavior. So with big data, a company can now foresee future results and adjust their marketing strategy based on this and can lead to a better outcomes. So I have done an extensive review of literature. So if you see that in the first paper by Sanjeev Verma, the paper tells us that they have done a comprehensive review of artificial intelligence in marketing using bibliometric conceptual and intellectual network analysis. Their findings were that descriptive technology such as the Internet of Things, big data analytics, blockchain, and artificial intelligence have changed the way businesses operate. And another paper by Thomas Davenport artificial intelligence in marketing will be more practical or will give you more saturated results if artificial intelligence is employed as a help with the human management instead of replacing it going for full automation. And by Kenila, the third paper in 2018, which says that artificial intelligence within the marketing and together with that tries to determine the longer term aspects of artificial intelligence in marketing, analyzing potential areas of improvement, implementation in the future to realize the high-end performance. So research methodology. My research aim is to focus on the usage of artificial intelligence in marketing, and there were 100 marketers who were sampled to represent the population. And they were.
Excuse me, one second. Your slide is not changing, ma'am.
Ma'am, I've been changing my slide.
But here it is not visible. You're in the first slide.
Just a minute.
Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry. Can you see now, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Research aim, sample size.
Yes. So total of 100 marketers, and they were business run on social media platform. And my research objective was to examine the usage of artificial intelligence in marketing and understanding the various components that lead to better usage of artificial intelligence in marketing. And objective 2 is to understand the challenges using artificial intelligence in marketing. So here I've used data collection. I've used primary data by way of questionnaire, and the survey included both open-ended and closed-ended questions. And I've also used 5-point Likert scale with the ends ranging from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Okay, so my next one is the convex alpha obtained is 0.793, which says that the data is reliable. And this is my conceptual framework. These are the determinants: machine learning, big data analytics, AI platform solutions, privacy, getting buy-in, training, data quality and time, which further leads to adapting to changing marketing landscapes, along with established goals and data quality and sources leads to usage of artificial intelligence in marketing. So these were the hypotheses. So here, machine learning, big data analytics, AI platform solution, privacy, getting buy-in, training time, deployment best practices, and data quality has a significant relationship with usage of AI in marketing, and H0 has no significant relationship with usage of AI in marketing. So my data analysis and interpretation, I've used data, this is an adoption model done in Amos. And if you can see, this is the conceptual framework which is being put through Amos. And if you can see, my CMIN value is 4.929. As you all know, in CMIN value in Amos, if it's going to be 5 and below 5, it says that it's a good fit model. So these are my regression weights, which is being shown in the screen. And you can see in majority of the components, you can see the p-value being less than 0.05. So here we can say that machine learning, big data analytics, training time, data quality has a positive impact on usage of artificial intelligence in marketing. And the p-value is lesser than 0.05, which suggests that there is a statistical significant impact on usage of artificial intelligence in marketing. So my findings. So among the 100 respondents, 69% were male social media entrepreneurs, forming the majority. And AI assists in remodeling marketing program. AI facilitates to deliver personalized message to customers. personalized message to customers in the sense like they might see, they might understand your past data, and based on what is the requirement, AI will help you to facilitate personalized messages. And it helps in identifying customers in danger. Like Mohan sir already said that the IT, cyber attacks and data leakage issues, all this can be helped in case of artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence in making helps in making faster decisions in the business. And as the suggestions, make sure your data is large enough for AI to find and interpret accurately. For example, Amazon Alexa, the more you talk to it, the more it will be able to interpret and give you replies very accurately. And never leave it all for the tools. When it involves personalization, the content must be natural to the users. And AI can make a significant impact and convey on to the best return on investment for the business. And it helps the marketers in achieving customized and meaningful results. I would like to conclude by saying that predicting the future isn't magic, it's artificial intelligence. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rachel, for the wonderful presentation. Panel members and the moderator, if you have any questions, you can post to Rachel. Okay, I think there's no questions to you, Rachel. Thank you for your presentation. Moving ahead, we have another paper presentation by Dr. Kaberi and Mr. Aditya, who hails from Guwahati Commerce College. The title being Greek Economy and Personal Management, an observation of the Northeast in light of DEI. Over to you, ma'am.
Just give me a minute to present, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. The presenters are joining us from Assam.
Ma'am, can you see the presentation?
No, ma'am.
No.
That's goodness. That's yours.
Desktop kote ase na. Ma'am, can you see the presentation now?
No, ma'am.
No, the problem is your side while selecting the share screen option.
Yeah.
That
yes.
Instead of selecting the screen, you see it says the presentation option is available. That you
Yes,
have to select. What you have done is you have selected the screen option. Instead of that, that presentation option is available. You see, if you open the PPT and keep it ready and select that option, it will be shared.
Sir, my PPT is open.
It is available in the dashboard, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Then you select now. I think you click the share option available below that. You see screen
Yes,
share
sir.
option. You select, you click it there and select your PPT that is displaying there and present. And that activate the share option.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, do you want me to share? Shall I share?
Yeah, I think better. Otherwise, we will be losing. Everyone may not like it to keep on waiting.
Okay, ma'am. Few seconds, I'll share now.
Oh, as you call so soon, and then I have it for it. আমি his privacy to okay করব লাগিছে last লাগিছে yes. Can I start my presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Namaskar. Myself, I am Dr. Kaveri Bejborua.
And myself, Aditya Jain.
Aditya Jain. We have co-authored our paper, joint effort, which is titled Gig Economy and Personal Management, an observation of the Northeast in the light of DEI. As the entire topic is as regard, everyone knows that with the gig economy, which is the in thing at present, has the ability to create incremental economic value and also create additional work opportunities, especially for the low income groups. So it is in this background, but what is happening in the gig economy is that although it has the ability to create incremental economic value and job opportunities, it works outside the generally accepted employer-employee relationship and the generally accepted HR theories which are at present, because what we feel is that the HR theories will in a future period, near future, have to be reorganized again or remodeled, should I say. And that is why the new expectations from the corporate world is DEI, that is diversity, equity, and inclusiveness, that has added to the problem of the gig economy. So it is in this particular background, our study is an effort to build a nuanced understanding, not only of the gig workers, but also of the entire business world in the gig economy. Can we have a next slide, please? So we have taken up 4 objectives. First is to understand the gap verticals, if any, it does exist. Our study is focused in the northeast of India. That is the gap verticals we have identified as 3 gap verticals. That is access in terms of technology, vacancy, skill requirement. Secondly, of participation, that is whether we are having the right job and the right task. And third is the outcome, whether there is security in the job or decent pay, etc. The second objective of the study is to measure the acceptance level of the people, as how are they adapting to this new way of functioning of the economy, not only from the point of view of the workers, but also of the business service providers, that is the business houses. Third, to determine the key enablers of making the workplace suitable for gig workers. Because as I've already mentioned, the HR theories which were already prevailing is no longer relevant. It's trying to be, it's slowly becoming obsolete. Fourth, to understand the penetration and inclusiveness of gig economy in the Northeast. With these 4 objectives, we have carried forward our studies. Can I have my next slide? Can we have a next slide, please? So the methodology that we have adopted for our study is basically is on secondary base, because the gig economy, although it has entered, because we have cab services, online cab services, online delivery services, but it has not entered in the 10% of the term. It is our study is cross-sectional, because it is not only studies or covers the first generation workers, it also goes beyond that, and we have broadened the term so that we can encompass temporary workers and all. Our study is deductive because it is basic. We have tried to deduce it from the prevailing numerous theories and numerous papers or numerous studies that has been carried on for that. It is also survey type and descriptive because we have used open-ended questionnaires, and from there we have to try to design a qualitative analysis. The study covers all the 8 states in the Northeast, and to carry forward to collect the informations from the field, we have employed we have employed data collectors, data and field investigators, should I say. And since our population is unknown, we don't know exactly what is the number of population that will come under this concept of gig economy or gig workers. We have used this popular formula because the population is unknown. From this, we have, as per the formula applied, we have to collect sample size was determined at 385, but to our good luck, we collect.
Sorry for the interruption, Dr. Koberi.
Yes, sir.
You read the first line here, your paper is mostly based on secondary source.
Yes, sir.
Secondary data.
No,
but you have mentioned about the questionnaire, interview schedule and all.
No, sir.
And that it is the primary. So there is a contradiction statement.
No. Sir, that is what, please, if you come to my third part, although it is mostly on, I have asked mostly on secondary base, because the question we have, that is why we have used deductive approach. And secondly, our reliance on the secondary data is a bit less, because a questionnaire could not have too many questions. So based on what we have deduced from the theories, we have tried to apply on our questionnaires so that we can collect a few of the informations at present what is happening. That is why we have our field investigators could connect to 395 respondents, but of that we could only accept 389, sir, because we have used both the systems. We have deduced from the theories, which we have included in our questionnaire, so that we can create the questions and collect information. Our questionnaire did not have too many questions, sir. And we have also connected with 10 at random selected business houses, so that we try to know what is the transition phase of the business houses. So I can prove my point if you can go on to my next slide, sir. Can we go into my next slide?
Continue.
Now, can I have my next slide? Because this is next to this slide, so that I can explain to sir. So, sir, from the variables that we have, from the deduced from the theories that we have gone through, or through the secondary data, we have identified to achieve our objectives these variables, that is equity, equal opportunity, dignity, effective communication, and how did they embrace this diverse culture. And so when we derive these variables from our theories or from secondary data, this is how we have asked the questions. So when we talk about equity from both ends, from the business houses and also from the workers or from the respondents, field workers, because if you see in the notice, apart from Assam, which I belong to, smaller states like Meghalaya and Sikkim has also embraced this gig economy, because we have now online service like food providers, delivery service, that is the transport service, and a few of the workers, because of the lockdown, many of them are working online. As we know, the classrooms and the work has come to our bedrooms. So when I talk about equity and to our first variable in our objective, that is access, when all the respondents have agreed that to have an equity, everyone present or all the population in this part of the country should have an access to all kind of, to 100% of technology. Gig economies at present, at the conference that we are going through, we are doing it online. So what is required is the connection of communication or the towers or the data is required. But that is a big problem in this part of our country. As the newspapers have reported and as per our respondents have agreed, the network connection in this part is very poor, and especially because of our geographical makeup. Because of the hilly terrain, because of the too much of rain in this part of the country, the network provision is poor. So the equity is not sufficient, because everyone doesn't get an equality opportunity, and especially of the tribal belt, all the interior areas. Although at the present, we have the new education policy where they are trying to be inclusive, but it is not yet present. So the state, before this inclusive education policy or new education policy, equity is a problem in this particular of our country. And equity, when we talk about from the point of our business personnel, they say that when the demand is there for get the workers, the gig workers, as per the demand, they don't find the gig workers at very easily or quickly. So from the business point of view, that is also a problem. As a dissemination of, if again, that is related to effective communication, the dissemination of information to the people as regards the requirement of gig workers or the requirement of the skill that is expected from the gig workers is poor, or should I say is particularly nil. And most of our respondents, both from the workers and from the business houses, have agreed to it, that there is a problem of dissemination of communication problems there, as a result of which the second variable, that is equal, there is a problem in equal opportunity. And another hurdle to this is that in our notice there is a problem of language. We have two ethnic diversity is very large, the tribal belt is large. As a result, the language spoken is different, in too much of different. And if we take the entire 8 states of Northeast, the diversity in culture, in language is very big. As a result, there is a requirement of building a platform where the language, local language, or the English language can be dealt with. And this, as a result, the communication and the language barrier doesn't give an equal opportunity to everyone to work with. Although the Northeast is rich in their culture and local knowledge, local skill, different. Although there are advantages locally available, but there is a problem of the platform, the common platform where they can share. As a result, there is a need to embrace the diverse culture. That is why we say that when we say DEI, the diversity has affecting the equity or equality of all the people in this particular part of the country. And also it is affecting the inclusiveness of this part of the country. Again, what is one problem highlighted by the business houses is that they have to trust on an outsider, because the gig workers are not permanent. So the business houses have raised the issue that this work culture, they have to trust on the outsider, and also the background checking for the workers to check, because of social reasons, they have to check the background credentials, which is a problem because the workers keep on changing fast, because one batch of workers will complete a particular job, again the next batch of workers, it's not necessarily the same batch of workers will work again. Again, this also is a problem with equity, because as regards their job, as regards the pay scale, some of the respondents have said that the pay scales varies, and sometimes they don't get what is expected. When questioned with the business houses, they have said that they find it difficult to fix a particular pay, because the same job, someone completes it quickly, whereas someone completes it, it takes a time. So as a result of which, to determine the pay scale is also very difficult. So what we felt is that reaching out, which from this variable, we have found that to reach out to the people, we require a platform that is based with the local language. We can give them equal right and respect. And there is a psychological barrier, because in a gig economy, the job prospect, nothing is permanent. As a result of which, there is a psychological barrier from the parents, from the workers, that because we have still the traditional mindset. They want a permanent employer or a permanent job, which the gig economy is not going to provide. As a result, we feel that there is a need for respect of this kind of job, so that people can, the skill of the people can reach out to the greater world from this part of the country. I feel that this reach, right, and respect will be necessary for the survival of this, for the people in this particular economy. can I have my next slide, please, sir? In the so what we want to suggest, actually our suggestion slide, sorry for that, our suggestion slide has gone below. Yes, what we suggestion is that we require to build the criteria of BASC in this gig syndrome, the people of Northeast to survive, not only for the workers, but also for the business to survive. They need to believe in the temporary nature of the job from the workers, and also from the business houses. They need to believe that whoever comes to work or whoever are offering the work are from the good credentials. The attitude of the people need to change. That temporary and reskilling, as sir has said previously, reskilling, unskilling is going to be the way of life. So that the attitude of the people and skill will be the most important factor. And so in this part of the country where we have a tribal belt, where we have a problem where less industries are there because of the various problem of the insurgency and such other tribal belt, such other barriers, we need to focus on the behavioral competencies of these deprived areas, so that we can build up the skill, or skill is already there, but we require to modernize it as per the requirement of the market. And lastly, with the knowledge, because the precondition for enhancing Northeast effort is adapting, which demands dissemination of information to create awareness among the people. And we suggest, and we would, ma'am, can I have the concluding slide? So the previous slide, that is. So we would like to conclude that the underutilized assets, the underutilized skill of the people, and the underutilized services should be shared among the peers and the groups for commercial and social reasons for the upliftment of the Northeast, because this will turn to build the competence of the people, and competence is the only survival mantra in the VUCA world. That is what I'm going to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a wonderful presentation. There is an end to everything, but we believe that there is never an end, but always a beginning. We conclude our session for the day, hoping to meet you all tomorrow for the second part of the spectacular conference. The riches are in the niches, but the fortune is in the follow-ups. I request all the participants to fill the feedback form posted in the YouTube chat box and to join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Hope you have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.